Full of quotable lines and iconic imagery, the Planet of the Apes film franchise occupies a level of cultural ubiquity that might seem strange considering how rarely one encounters an Apes superfan in the wild. Endlessly parodied, as likely to be referenced by The Simpsons as by Mad Men, a vague understanding of its concepts and aesthetics were planted in my head long before I had ever seen the 1968 sci-fi classic. So why is there still this lingering runner-up quality to this franchise? The original 5 movies, with their action figures and characters on lunchboxes, presaged the coming dominance of Star Wars and Spielberg. They were the John the Baptist to the new age of movie merchandising, destined to be dwarfed by their most famous descendants. And while it's true the 4 original sequels were certainly campier than the likes of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, they were still far more serious and interesting films than anything ever made by George Lucas. Why now, in the age of nerds, does it seem like the Apes movies haven't quite imprinted as deeply as one might expect? Too dark? Too real? Or was this franchise never meant for children at all, and thus could never burrow as deeply into the unconscious? Is it the kind of thing perhaps best appreciated as a cynical adult? I was once talking to a Star Wars fan in my endless quest to discover why those movies mean next to nothing to me. He said it was because I have no soul. Joking, of course, but to me it was rather telling. As I grinned and shook my head at this poor fellow, I felt a feeling very much akin to a smiling Charlton Heston laughing like a lunatic at a tiny American flag planted on an alien world by a foolish companion. We are so doomed. And is that even a tragedy at all?
Welcome to Kale Your Idols, a new Hollywood podcast with your hosts,
Sam Ludwig
and Elena Gibson. This is a podcast about film. Primarily, we discuss movies, directors, actors, and writers known for their work during the new Hollywood era of studio filmmaking that began in 1967 with Bonnie and Clyde and The Graduate, and pretty much ended in the early 80s with One from the Heart and Heaven's Gate. In this episode, cinematic sci-fi takes a giant leap forward with the Planet of the Apes franchise. Sam, I am so hyped to talk about this movie and this whole franchise.
Was that you doing like an ape version of a cheer?
Yeah, okay, something I want to go ahead and say that I love about the reboot series is that they do a great job of incorporating the ape, ooh thing into the language in a way that just feels very linguistically conscious. Like, I love learning languages. I love linguistics. It's one of the reasons I love the movie Arrival so much. And the way that they use the oohs in the mannerisms of the Planet of the Apes reboots, it just feels so realistic.
Yeah, it's not even just that they incorporate it into the language. You can tell that they've incorporated it into the accent work that the apes are doing, to create these characters.
Yeah.
Who's the king in the latest one? Was a... Promiscuous? It's not Promiscuous. It's Proximus.
Proximus, yeah.
Right? Promiscuous. And yeah, so he's clearly there's that one line where he's like, all right, you can go, but just please tell me, are there any more of those in there? And it's the way he's doing it, I'm doing it stupid right now, but it's he sounds like, it's like an ape that learned to talk. I mean, this sounds obvious, but they certainly pay no attention to this in the original movies or anything.
Yeah. Another thing they do, rather than the oohs, in addition to that, the way that apes, when they get surprised or excited and they exclaim the ah, and then they spin around or something, they have them do that as well in the reboot series in a way that just feels so ingrained into their culture.
Yes. Rather
than just, oh, this is a thing that apes do.
Yeah, well, I guess, part of one of the things that you always want to have in every Apes movie, because we're kind of talking about the franchise, and we'll start, I guess, with a little bit of table setting where we talk generally about the franchise, and then we'll go maybe into the original movie at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that you gotta have in every Apes movie is some subtle nods to the larger culture that has developed, right? Like the ape, you always have to have these glimpses of like, there's a whole world, they have their whole other set of values, they have laws, religion, medicine, oftentimes they have a protest culture or some sort of analog to what, everything that we have in human life. One of the things that these movies, these reboot movies, have they've just clearly taken that idea and ran with it so much, and they just do such an amazing job of developing what it would be like to be in a monkey society, especially in the latest movie, but we'll get into that. But like, they do such a good job of like actually thinking about animal behavior and extrapolating out from that, like what super intelligence would bring to that in the new movies.
Yeah, I mean, the old movie does it a little bit, but it's pretty lame where, like, there's this scene where Taylor is being surrounded by the apes, and they literally throw fruit at him.
I know. I was wondering what that part was supposed to be, because it's like, we don't throw fruit at animals.
No, but I think it's that
like,
gorillas and apes throw fruit.
That's a good point.
And other things. I think it was like, oh, they like fruit and they throw it.
I think you're giving it more credit. Like, when I was watching this, I was actually like, what is this? Like, we don't shun animals that we deemed... I mean, I guess we sort of like raccoons or whatever,
I don't think I'm giving more credit. I think they have, like, a bunch of silly little, like, oh, this is what apes do, or this is what you associate with apes. Like, that really lame part during the hearing in the original movie where they do this see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil
you're
thing.
You're right. I didn't even think monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're right. I didn't even think that they were... They're doing a lot more jokes about monkeys in the original movie.
Yeah.
But the original movie, and we'll get to this, is really just supposed to be like a mirror of human society in most ways. Like, they're not really thinking about like what would it be like to be in an ape society. It's
like
more
the way
just
they talk is so highfalutin. Doesn't have that observed incorporation of actual ape mannerisms the way the new one does, like with the ooh-oohs and like the screeching and that kind of thing.
Right. The new movies, one of the most amazing things about it is just how much empathy it has for animals. And it's just one of the most amazing cinematic depictions of the emotions that animals elicit in human beings. When in the new movies, you'll have like the real moral complexity of seeing like a character who's maybe a bad ape character or an evil ape character, but when they die, it's like watching an animal die in a way that is actually giving you that moral complexity that the movies are always going for, of like, no one's really right, no one's really wrong. This is always a tragedy and everybody's misguided,
You're saying like having an evil ape die in the new movies is more sad than if it was an evil human, because we have more empathy for animals and it feels more like you're watching an animal die.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really interesting point.
No, that's one of my favorite things about the new ones. I mean, we have so many things that we'll talk about, but like, I kind of just really quickly want to bring up, because so we'll just sort of talk a little reboot stuff now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like I want to talk about like my evolving relationship to animals in general.
Okay.
Traditionally, I was not famous for being an animal person.
A lot of people say like you can tell if a person's a good person or not based on how they treat dogs. Yeah. So would you say that people would view you as a bad person because of that?
Well, it was, I felt very stigmatized in a way, because I didn't treat dogs poorly. It's not like I was like out here like beating the shit out of dogs or something like that. It's just people, there's a certain amount of animal love in the modern internet society that's like, if you're not absolutely super entertained and loving every second that somebody's shoving an animal in your face, they act like you're a fucking psychopath who's going to murder people and stuff. It's not, you don't have to hate animals in order to be perceived as some kind of weirdo. All you have to do is just not find every fucking thing they do cute. And now, since we got our kitties, I have kind of changed my tune. Like, I feel like I'm less of an animal hater. And I mean hater like, I didn't hate animals, but like I was like a hater of the love people had for animals.
I got you.
And yeah, I mean, it's like when we're watching these movies, like these new movies, it's like I'm always looking at the kitties and I'm like, what if there was a planet of the kitties? And like,
that'd be so
What if
cute.
Dracula was like a leader of kitties and he was, and like, he remembered his time with us, and because of how much we loved him, that was like made him sort of like half sympathetic to humans, even though the kitties are the people he needs to lead.
That's so cute.
You know, are you thinking this way, or is this just me as a sort of relatively new animal lover, just basking in the glow of having feelings?
I love my kitties so much, but I was not thinking about them while watching any of these Apes movies.
Were you thinking about animals? Because it's like you're seeing an insane amount of like realistic animal behavior, but then it's also like you're seeing the animals actually have as complex an expression as we're always projecting onto them.
I don't think I was really thinking about animals in general. In the reboot series, there's times where they're interacting with animals where there's like a clear difference between them and the other animals. Like in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, he sees a dog, like Caesar sees a dog, and it's like, oh, are you keeping me as a pet? And that dog is clearly like not intelligent the way he is, and he's clearly different. And the way like their horses, I mean, I fucking love that all the Planet of the Apes movies have the apes riding horses. I don't know why that's a thing in the franchise, but I love it so much.
I can tell you right now, but go on.
Okay, tell me.
Well, tell me why you love them.
It's just cool. It's just fucking cool to see them ride horses, although it does make their legs extra short looking. Like, their proportions are always very noticeable when they're riding.
Well, they're supposed to look little. Like, that's part of what's a little bit off about the original movies compared to the new ones. Is like they're supposed, like, they do cast pretty short actors compared to like Heston. Like, Heston does tower over the rest of them in the original movie. It's just like they look so humanoid that you're not really. They don't really look like apes. Like, they look like weird ape mutants in the original series.
Yeah.
But in the new ones, like, it really is like a monkey riding an ape. Like, you're fucking watching like a chimp riding an ape.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks exactly how it would look, and you're just like, this is fucking thrilling. And like, you're like, they fucking could. Like, we could teach a chimp to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but like,
I guess they have smaller horses. They have ponies.
I mean, I used to ride horses, I guess as a child, so I could do it even though I had small legs. But you're supposed to kind of lift yourself up off the horse slightly in rhythm while it's moving. And I was watching the apes, and I'm like, are they even doing that? Can they do that? Because their legs are so short.
No, but they have such strong arms. Like, they're also just like they're able to like swing themselves up onto a horse in a way that a human can't.
Yeah.
But you know, the reason why the apes in the original movie had a sort of primitive-esque society.
Oh, to save money.
To save money.
That's right.
This was the main contribution that you will ever find anywhere online of the director, Frank Schaffner, right? Have you seen any other creative decision ascribed to him other than the fact to change the setting of the original novel from a futuristic ape society to a, sort of ancient but developing ape society in order to save money?
Pauline Kael says that he uses really well thought out action and uses the space and distance dramatically and has very good plotting and things like that. So I think that is something you can credit him for, but yeah, he's not really a name that comes up a lot when you are thinking about the original Planet of the Apes.
That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, it's a beautifully directed film. I mean, like, if you look at the original shots of like the astronauts and the way they're choreographed to sort of crisscross across each other on the sand dunes, it's beautifully composed. Again, could be cinematography. I don't know, but like, you know, no, Schaffner directs the hell out of this movie. It's just, yes, when you do the research, you will not find his name come up in any context. In the behind-the-scenes stuff, there's never any, like, oh, he really cracked Dr. Zaius as a character. Or something. That guy, like, he was like, why don't you set it in the past in order to save money? Because
this is based on a book, and in the book, the apes live in a technologically advanced human-like society.
But I actually have to think, I think that though it was a cost-cutting measure, it is rather ingenious in a way.
It does give separation between ape culture and human culture.
Well, it absolutely does that. And it also, you know, the sort of moral conundrum or question at the heart of all of these movies, we know that human beings suck. Can apes do better? I think is really put in a good light by showing them in a sort of developing society, because these movies deal with an incredibly, a weird philosophical question, which is like, what if we stopped technology progressing? Would that be better?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, obviously this is flying in the face of the entire zeitgeist of the 1960s, in which every week is a new explosion of knowledge and human pursuit, and all we do is venerate science and the exploration, and we have to discover what's next. And this movie is actually like saying, like, it could be possible that like maybe there's a place where you could stop it and it could be okay. And we wouldn't have, like, Dr. Zaius, that's his whole argument in the original movie. And this, you know, is reiterated in all of the movies. Like,
including Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, exactly, right. Yeah, it's always and this is a question that to me, it seems silly, right? Because it's like, well, you can't stop progress. And even something like the atomic bomb, right? Like, this is coming up in the middle of the 20th century, you know, like, have we gone too far, right? But that's like a weapon. Somebody might develop it anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of have to be like, well, maybe we should develop this because somebody else develops it. Stuff like AI and social media and a lot of these modern developing things, I really think these are legitimate candidates for the, do we need this?
I think even the weapons thing, like if you are the only group, if you don't have to worry about an arms race with another...
Yeah, well, yes.
With another country, then yeah, like don't develop that weapon.
I'm not trying to make an argument that like I think the atomic bomb is good or that like developing weapons is good. It's just like there really is no real argument, I think, that we need social media or that we need a lot of like smartphones and stuff. Like all of the stuff that it, like I was a tech optimist, 15 years ago. I was like, as I think most of Americans were. And I don't know if this is really accomplishing what the goal of it was. It's like, is this even really worth anything at all,
It is. I do enjoy this question a lot. Like the ape society, where they're pre-technology, does seem so much closer to utopia than human society ever does.
Totally. I mean, outside, of course, of their subjugation of humans and covering up of... I mean, right, it's like, is it bad to cover up knowledge if you know it, too? These movies always have such great, complex antagonists.
They really do.
Especially the newest one.
I really liked the Mad King in Kingdom of the Apes.
He's not even mad. Like
a little bit. Okay, I was thinking about this a lot. We are going to talk about some details of the new movie, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Personally, I feel like you don't have to worry that much about spoilers in the movie because it's not about twists and turns, or if there are twists, they're ones that have been recycled from the older Apes movies. Yeah. So sorry, but we're just going to talk about it. But I don't think you should let that keep you from listening to this episode if you haven't seen all the Apes movies. So if that king in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes did not take hostage the other tribes and force them to work in basically a concentration camp, then I would think he's just like a fine ruler. Like that's the only thing about him that seems obviously bad. And if he didn't do that, then the question of like, should he get inside the vault and gain access to new technology, it is genuinely a really interesting philosophical question. Like, why not? Yeah.
No, well, that's what's so... I'm just going to say, like, in general, like, I fucking loved this new movie.
I really enjoyed it a lot.
I think it's my favorite of this new series.
Really? Okay. I love Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So that's definitely my favorite.
That's the James Franco one?
Yeah, the James Franco one.
Yeah.
That one's definitely my favorite. But I did really like this one, too.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, that one is super... empathetic, and I mean, it has like a human story. This franchise, which is all about time travel and timelines and stuff, you just
except like the first movie, there's actually no time travel in the way you truly think about time travel. It's the theory of relativity.
Gosh, we're jumping around so much.
Okay, right. Sorry. Let's just lay out.
No.
Like
it's fine. Well, I was just gonna say, by the way, like this new series, technically, Kingdom is. I just found this out, a reboot of the reboot, because it's all new characters, and it's like we're past this, like the first three movies are the Caesar timeline.
Right, I heard this new one is the start of a new trilogy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the second of the reboot trilogies.
Yeah, and I'm down. I loved these new characters.
Yeah, me too.
I thought all of the new things that they developed with the different societies were really cool. But yeah, so like what they're doing with Proxima is... They talk about it a lot, but it's a Roman thing, right?
Right.
Where he doesn't just conquer people; he absorbs their culture and says, like, you can keep your like. I mean, they sort of dicky with it a little bit, where he's like doesn't respect their eagle hunting culture or whatever, But like, it's supposed to be this thing where it's like, yes, I've conquered you, but now let's get to work. We're partners now. Like, I don't want to subjugate you. I want you to bring your talents to my thing. Like, it's this very Roman thing, which is like. It's this insidious version of colonialism, in a way.
Yeah, because you'd think that he's hunting May because they're afraid of like talking humans.
Right.
But actually, he just wants to learn from them.
Exactly.
And gain her information.
No, and that's what's so good, because when you are first introduced to the villainous tribe in the new movie, they're like fucking horrifying. Like, honestly, those like
with the masks,
and the cattle prod, like I was like, these are scary ass fucking villains.
Yeah,
like they really were creepy and very upsetting and stuff. And then you meet the Bad King, and of course it's this wonderful Planet of the Apes twist, which is always like, it's never quite, no character is quite what you think.
And I love the cult leader aspect of him being like, what is his line that's in the trailer that always sticks with me? Like, it's such a beautiful day or whatever. And he says it multiple times in kind of a brainwashing type way. Yeah. Like, it's so dynamic and charismatic. And
he actually, you see the charisma.
Right.
And like, and he just has this pitch where he's like, look, this will be great. Like, I get that this is a weird situation, but I can explain it to you. We can make it work. We can build together. This can be nothing but good. Like, he's a very positive guy. Like, that's what's cool about it. Like, like when they're trying to get the vault open, he's so clearly is like, today's the day we open it, and it doesn't open, and you get the sense that they've done this many days in a row and it's failed. But every day he's like, today's the fucking day, right? And it's like, that's cool. That's what you're looking for in a society that hasn't quite developed yet. Yeah, hope and optimism and. But again, like the notion of animals and its relationship to humans is completely present, especially in this latest one, because it's like they have the whole bird thing. Yeah, which was really cool. Was amazing. Like, I love, not only was it like a wonderful way to bring new kinds of action into the franchise, and like an emotional development, an amazing opener, but also just like his relationship with his father's bird. Right. That's something that I haven't really quite seen in any movie. Yeah. Like that thing of like of having that, like, I've never seen like a dog who like hates you. I mean, it almost seems cartoony, but you feel they have a deeper connection to the animals that they keep because they are themselves closer to animals. Yeah. Am I projecting that? Or I think that's in there on purpose, right? I did also think like the end scene with the eagles, I'm not going to say exactly what happens, but it was very effective. Yeah. And very fucking cool. Yeah. With the animals thing, I was thinking about how Noah, I was like, is he supposed to be Noah from Noah's Ark? Right. Like collecting animals and saving them from a flood? Yeah. And Caesar in the reboots is like Moses leading them to the promised land. That's something that's been said before. So. Yeah, totally. And Caesar, again, like they really, I mean, they choose these names because they're just famous names. But then when they're stuck with the names, they sort of clearly try and develop more resonance with them. Caesar's also in the original series. But that's what I'm saying. But like they clearly chose it because it's like Caesar. Yeah, like, yeah. Here's my thing: is like, what do you know about like what Caesar as a person represents other than being assassinated? He was like, I think a lot of people considered him a great leader. Well, sure. But like what happened, what he represents is, can I, quick second on Caesar? I know you hate. No, go ahead. I like the Shakespeare play. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's just about his assassination. Like he's almost a minor character in that play, But Caesar, I actually feel like I kind of have a dream of having like a gender bent, like Hamilton-esque musical about the life of Caesar. Because Caesar was like really fascinating. Like he played around with like gender roles and stuff, and like he had a famous like drag scandal early on. But so Caesar was like a leader who took control of a democratic society, and he was essentially a genocidal maniac in a lot of ways. Like he almost destroyed the Celts. But yeah, like he was sort of this leader who led by, instead of in the old system of like Roman law where you have to like kill your enemy, he would forgive his enemies. And he would indebt them to him. So he becomes really powerful, but he's surrounded by people who fucking hate him. And it's nothing but all these people who resent that he didn't kill them and stuff. And so he just basically establishes all this power through this kind of fucked up charisma. And yeah, he inadvertently positions Rome to turn from a democratic society into a empire. Like, that is more similar to Conquest of the Planet of the Apes in the original series and Battle of the Planet of the Apes in the original series. And Proxima 2 kind of has a little bit of that vibe. Yeah. Like, you know. But Caesar in the reboots doesn't. He's just... Can we talk for a second about the moral complexity of the main characters? Yes. So Taylor in Planet of the Apes, we'll go into depth about this more, but basically he's
very flawed, and he is an arrogant asshole.
Yeah.
Whereas Caesar and Noah in the reboots, they're just great.
Yeah.
They're just morally correct.
Well, no, but because they have their own, it's weird, because like they have their own kinds of flaws. Because Noah, what I love about Noah is he's seen as like totally good guy, everybody loves him, but put a human in front of him and he's like, fuck this shit. Like, he's like, I fucking hate that. Like, he turns into a racist against humans, like, you know?
Wait, you think he turns racist against humans? I feel like he doesn't trust her, and he was right to.
Well, yes, but I mean, this is, again, part of the moral complexity. Yeah, but like, I think he is initially shown, what's the name of the friend that he meets who likes humans?
Raka.
Yeah, so what an amazing character.
Loved Raka.
By the way, like...
Except super annoying. It was definitely queer baiting, for sure. He's clearly coded as gay, just barely, but it's that thing where they don't make him obviously gay so that it can sell more overseas, like in China, where you can get a lot of money as long as there's no obvious gay characters.
Right, which this is the first of the new movies that has been released by Disney officially, because Disney bought Fox, which owns the Planet of the Apes franchise, and this is the first one that Disney is officially releasing, and they are famous for that bullshit with, you know, having a character in Endgame sort of a little bit allude to being gay, but in a way that's they can just dub over it in other countries and not have to own it at all. In this, it's like, yeah, this guy died. I loved him. Anyways,
like, it was so quick, so brushed over. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, that's what that was.
A classic Disney moment.
But the character's great. I loved him. I was hoping he'd come back. Maybe he will.
I know. Right, yeah.
Because anytime you don't see a character actually die, it's like, they might make a reappearance.
No, it's absolutely what you want. He was such a brilliant addition. And yeah, it's like, how do these movies make even cliched moments like your fun mentor friend dying hit so hard?
There was a moment that should have been so eye-rolly that I actually really loved, and it was when Noah's friend Anaya said he was too scared to help them at the end. And just the way he was like, Anaya's scared. Like, I was like, oh, I'm glad you're admitting that, you know? And it was just so sweet. And it seems like so eye-rolly, but it was just pulled off really, really well.
Because, again, just to sort of put a fine point on it, one of the things that I think is so impressive and cool about these movies is they are the only modern franchise. They're the only franchise that I know of that what you're watching is acting. And characters' faces change with emotion. And characters have moments of realization. Like, we saw it with a friend of ours, and she's mentioned that it was a little slow. And like you were saying, like, stuff kind of feels like it sort of takes a long time to process moment to moment. And for me, that's just because that's the special effect that you're watching is the fact that these people are able to convey complex emotions through this performance capture technology. And so it makes you want to sit and just look at facial expressions in a way that, like, nobody in a Star Wars movie or like a Terminator movie or Fast and the Furious, it's like their expressions aren't interesting enough for me to want to sit there and watch them cross their face. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
I was thinking about how mocap, because you don't have to worry about them being the hottest or most attractive actors ever. Right. You can get actors who are just really amazing at facial expressions and body movements. So, Sam, you've recently been doing some mocap work.
Yeah, no face stuff.
You haven't done any face stuff yet? Just body...
Yeah, I would love to do the face stuff. I mean, this was making me... I really feel like this movie is also, which is 5 years after the last installment. I think it's a pretty big leap forward.
Yeah, it looked great. Usually I feel like the farther in you get into CG, the shittier it looks. Right. But in this case, Westball really tried to merge motion capture with CG. So he tried to keep the motion capture aspect and did a lot of shooting on location, which was something Rise of the Planet of the Apes was it was a very big technological advance for motion capture because it was one of the first times, if not the first time, you could do motion capture on location since they started using infrared detectors to sense the sensor thingies, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I felt like in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes that the visual effects looked really good.
The action sequences were amazingly well choreographed, and yeah, you care so much about these characters, or at least I do. And these movies are popular. Roger Ebert has the whole thing about movies being emotion machines, and I can think of no blockbusters that are more that than this.
And I think that's a big difference between the original series and the reboot. Is the reboot, there's a bunch of differences I want to discuss, but one of them is that the reboot is more emotional,
yes.
whereas the original is more just like straight up telling you philosophical conflicts.
Right. Yeah, they're sci-fi. The idea, it's like, let's discuss issues facing mankind.
Yes, whereas the reboot does not feel sci-fi at all.
No, and again, the other thing about the reboot is that these are also, in my opinion, some of the most successful prequels that have ever been made.
Yeah, they're really cool prequels.
But they've been playing with prequeldom since the original series. You know, in a way, like the last three movies, the fourth or the last two movies of the original five are prequels of a kind to the original.
You're saying Conquest and Battle are sort of prequels?
They are. I mean, well, they are arguably not because it's just maybe a different timeline.
Yeah, that's kind of I haven't thought about it like that, but I guess you're kind of right.
Well, yeah. So, like, just like a quick telescoped out description of what happens in these series.
Yeah,
do you want to
take us through all of them?
Can
briefly.
You do the first one?
Okay, so the original Planet of the Apes. It's about astronauts who are going on a space expedition because of the theory of relativity. A lot of time has passed on Earth. It's so funny because they like don't trust the theory of relativity. They're like, supposedly this is going to happen. I'm like, you don't know this before you started out? Like, you were just like, oh, sure, I'm going to go on this adventure and maybe lose 2,000 years. It's just totally crazy the way they talk about it in the beginning.
Yeah, we will get into what a ridiculous person Taylor is.
Yes, yeah.
It's amazing, but yeah. Right. There's
and
apes.
they crash land on an alien planet and encounter the apes.
It's just so weird because it's like, how could you travel so fast, so far, and yet still wind up back at Earth? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, how could you possibly travel 2,000 years of the light speed and still be back at Earth? Like,
you're right. That is a very
makes
confusing.
no fucking sense at all. And yet, are you supposed to think that they're dumb for not thinking it's Earth the whole time?
I personally, okay, the ending.
They're talking English.
Exactly.
Like,
the twist ending, which we'll talk about the ending, but the fact that, oh my God, we were on Earth the whole time.
You all know it.
It's
like everybody listening knows whether you've seen the movie or not. You know the fucking twist ending of the original movie.
Yeah, because it's one of the most famous endings of all time.
Right. They don't even put on space helmets. How do they not know it's Earth?
They take a reading.
Yeah, but
before they exit the spacecraft, they're like, "Let's take a reading," and they're like, "Oh, it's good."
It seemingly has the perfect atmosphere. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing. There's nothing but clues.
It's so
it
dumb.
looks like Earth, like that. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they're technically supposed to be in like Massachusetts or something like that at that point, but it's been turned into a desert. Yeah, I guess it's
got to be New York.
I guess it's New York. 'Cause he doesn't get that far.
Yeah, they're walking.
Right.
Yeah. It's just so dumb because they are literal humans. Like that's just not the way.
Yeah.
Alien cultures would work, where you'd evolve to look exactly like our humans. Like, it wouldn't happen like that. And they speak English. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Why did they think that they weren't on Earth? It just makes zero sense to me.
Again,
it's crazy.
Though, this just is this wonderful point in scientific development where sci-fi could be both based on something real and yet completely outlandish. And because most people have no fucking idea about anything in science, because it's the 60s and like, I don't know, what are literacy rates even, you know? But it's like, they'll buy it? I wish I could know how this twist was perceived at the time.
People loved it.
They were tricked by it?
Yes. Pauline Kael in her review says that you have to go see the movie really quickly before your friends spoil it for you.
Yeah.
And she specifically says if it were a great picture, you wouldn't need to worry about having it spoiled for you, but it's just good enough to hurry to go see it before it's spoiled. She's wrong.
Yes, right.
It has withstood being spoiled.
Yeah.
Like, it is still absolutely worthwhile seeing, even with the ending spoiled.
It's perhaps the most spoiled thing ever.
Yeah, I think that most people do know of the ending, even if they haven't seen the movie.
If people referenced a thing from Planet of the Apes for 30 years, it was the ending. There was no reference to another part of the movie that people were making.
You dirty, get your hands off me, you dirty stinking ape.
That's true. Anything that has damn in it.
Yes, he says damn a lot.
We'll talk about this. I want to talk about the concept of damn.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah.
It's a good word.
It's a great word. He loves
Out of fashion.
I mean, he's obviously like, it's sort of him taking the crown from Rhett Butler, I guess, as he's like, I'm going to be the most cinematic damn guy.
Who's Rhett Butler?
Isn't that the name of the guy from Gone with the Wind?
I don't know.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Oh.
The big line at the end.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's like Damn has a storied history of making its way into classic cinema lines.
You're right.
But this movie has 2 different famous lines that have damn in it.
Yeah.
How strange is that? Getting 2 lines in a movie that persist is one thing, but damn, too. And so this made me thinking, of course, like, I happen to remember, this could be a false memory, the first time I cursed out loud.
Really?
Yes. I remember when I was probably like a little old. Like I was probably like 8 or 9, like maybe. But it was like, I remember it was Dodgeball. And I believe I heard, some of the other kids maybe throwing around a shit or a damn or maybe even a fuck. I don't really know. But like I did a thing in Dodgeball, right? So, and I did something, maybe I missed somebody or maybe my ball got caught and I got out or something. And I quietly said to myself, damn. And I remember this moment of being like, wow, I'm growing up now. Did that. Like, I didn't think fucking, I guess. But, it was wild. I was like, that came out of my mouth just now on purpose. And I did it, like, I did it sort of to be more in a sporting mode, I guess. Like, I was doing more like, yeah, that's what a person who fucked up a sports thing would do.
That reminds me of in Kingdom and the Planet of the Apes when Noah learns the word shit from May.
Yes.
That's a great moment in that movie.
I guess that is a callback to the cussing of to the original. maybe they're like that's one thing that you got to have in an Apes movie too, is like a little taste.
Can we quickly list some things you have to have in Apes movies?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to have nets.
Yes.
Which look super, super silly in the original series.
Right.
It's so ineffective. Like, just throw it off of you. Like, that's not going to capture anybody. But it looked good in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. You have to have nets. You have to have horses. Uh-huh. You have to have, in the reboot series, you have to have an ape falling down, looking up at you as it's falling.
Yeah, a dark moment of loss.
A dark moment of loss.
I would say, and including most of the original movies.
Right.
Like, you got to have a moment where a character dies and you're like, holy fuck. They've got to have a downer ending.
Yes.
More or less. Like, they've got to, or the best of bittersweet.
Yeah.
Obviously, a moral quandary of some kind. You got to have humans be the bad guys.
Humans versus apes.
Right.
Like, that whole question.
Yes. Yeah. I would say that is pretty de rigueur. So, in this ape society, you got chimps, orangutans, and gorillas?
Yes. So, the chimps are kind of more liberal scientists. In the original series, they're more liberal
total
scientists.
Coastal elites, yeah. No. They're scientists, but like science is run by the orangutans.
The orangutans are the religious leaders and the government officials. So they're like in
he's
charge
Minister of Science and Defender of the Faith. Dr. Zaius is Minister of Science and Defender of the Faith.
Right, but it's like a government position.
Right, you're right. That's true.
Like the heads of the NIH are government appointed.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
So the orangutans are religious and government leaders.
Yeah.
Chimps are more liberal scientists, free thinkers. And their makeup is designed to look more human-like.
Right.
So you identify more with them.
Yes.
And the gorillas are more militaristic.
Yeah. And
in
my
opinion, reboot, I feel like they don't quite do it.
Oh, no,
a little bit.
No, they definitely do. All the orangutans are the more. I mean, by the time of Kingdom,
wise.
And then this one in Kingdom, he was all about the
religion,
the religion of Caesar. Yeah. But so I gotta say, just the gorillas, a weak link. Like, I'm never into a gorilla in any of them. Any of them. We watched 10 movies, people.
Yes.
The gorillas are never quite. Maybe in the Tim Burton movie they do some fun stuff. I can't quite remember. You know what I mean? But like.
I agree.
They're always the problem, and
they
especially in battle, which we'll get to, the worst one.
So fucking bad.
They try to make the gorilla into a thing, and you could just feel the movie being like, I don't know, this isn't working, right?
Yeah, you're right. They are the weak link. Okay, we're doing our overview of the whole franchise. Just very broad strokes. Yes. Astronauts land on what they think is an alien planet. It's actually Earth in the future. They encounter talking apes, and humans are mute, and the apes are like, oh my God, talking humans, this is scary. And that movie's all about what do you do when you encounter like a talking human if you are used to humans being mute.
Yeah, right.
And dumb. They're not just mute, they're dumb.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They're animals.
So that's like the first movie.
Yes.
Very philosophical.
Right. He discovers it's Earth right at the end.
Yes.
The whole other time you're just thinking about like he's in an ape society, I guess.
Second movie is Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
And that one...
It's very weird.
It's very campy and fun.
But it's kind of good. Like, I kind of really dig.
I think the first half's a little boring, but the second half is like, oh, this is worth it.
Totally. Yeah. It's got a weird... We don't need to get into the... Do you want to talk about how they have a weird half Charlton Heston...
Yeah, the main character looks like Charlton Heston.
Yeah, they have Charlton Heston at the beginning and the end of the movie.
Right.
But then they throw in another guy who is like Charlton Heston, and other characters confuse him for Charlton Heston.
It's so weird.
It's very strange. But the basic premise is... you find out that underneath the planet's crust is there have been humans all along, and these are mutant, super intelligent humans because there was nuclear war and stuff, and they are planning a sort of revenge against the ape society, and they worship a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And nothing more needs to be said about that. But then...
It's a very fun ending, but we won't say what happened. Because I guess we're spoiling some spoilers, but not others. I don't know.
I don't know. In Escape from the Planet of the Apes, then Zero and Cornelius, characters from the first two movies, travel back in time to Earth in the 70s or whatever. So it's like this reversal of the original movie where like now human society is dealing with talking apes. They're bringing... news of this future in which humans are subjugated by apes, but it's like 2,000 years in the future, and so like the president and like the society is weirdly liberal about this, where they're like, well, I mean, it seems like they mean no harm, and look, I mean, if we destroy society, I mean, that's kind of on us, so like, we can't really kill the messenger here. But there's one guy who's very terrified by the implication that these super intelligent chimps have now traveled back in time and might be starting a new timeline of the apes taking over earlier or whatever.
The president in that movie is weirdly like a good guy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, maybe this is for the best.
Yeah, right.
that
but of course,
apes should take over.
He has set they have set a chain in motion, though, of course, which carries on to the next generation in the next movie.
Yeah. I liked Escape of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I like Conquest more.
Sure. I think most people do. I didn't quite get into it, but you dig it. This is the first movie that's really about Caesar.
Conquest?
Yes.
Yeah, so Conquest is about Zero and Cornelius's son.
Right.
In this human society. It's this whole thing about apparently all of the pets have died.
Yeah.
And so humans are like, we need new pets. There's still apes around.
Right.
Let's make apes into our pets.
Yes.
And then the apes get smarter because of that.
Yeah, the apes get smarter.
They can learn how to do menial tasks, and then they can be used as servants once humans realize the apes are smart enough to do servants' tasks. So they're basically more like slaves.
Yeah.
And they're subjugated by the humans. And Conquest is all about Zira and Cornelius' son named Caesar starting a revolt. Mm-hmm. And that movie, to me, is pretty cool. All of these sequels are very, like, 70s. They all have, like, protests, like anti-war protests, very deep sociopolitical commentaries.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
It's very fun.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, like, there was a worry that the ending of Conquest was too incendiary, and so they actually changed it to something that was, like, it weirdly involved, like, dubbing a part of a speech, because, of course, it's just ape makeup, so you can kind of put him saying whatever you want, and it's,
I mean, the speech at the end is amazing in Conquest. I wish I had seen the original ending.
Yeah. I think it's generally considered pretty laughably stupid in a lot of ways. By the time, though, you get to the fifth movie, Battle, they've really wrung the series dry.
Battle's pretty bad.
Battle's very bad.
Boring. The makeup's
boring.
terrible.
Makeup is terrible, and they've sort of continued the makeup designs into the 70s, and they make like the orangutan's hair more 70s, and it looks stupid.
It does. You're right. The orangutan's hair does look dumb.
It looks like they look like the kid from Kramer versus Kramer.
I thought they looked like from the medieval time.
Yeah,
like Return of Martin Gare. I feel like they have his haircut.
Totally. Yeah, it's very much that kind of page boy. And yeah, battle is pretty bad. It's just about a battle, really.
Yeah, about the chimps versus the gorillas versus the surviving humans.
Yeah,
it's not very good.
No, I mean, it's the first one that really tries to introduce the sort of maybe the problems of man are not confined to man. Perhaps the apes aren't special, and they will deal with the same sort of wars and discontent that humans deal with.
Yeah.
But it still ends on, weirdly, the happiest note of any of the original series, because they were trying to wrap it up. But it's very like, I think we will learn to live in harmony. It's the only one that doesn't have the mega downer ending.
But you're right. So those are kind of prequels. Now, when they were making Rise of the Planet of the Apes, they made the active decision to not try and make everything fit perfectly with what has already been established in the original Planet of the Apes series.
Yeah, plenty of fun Easter eggs.
Yes,
and
lots
a lot of stuff
fun callbacks.
And a lot of one of the really fun things in the brand in Kingdom is what's the guy's name? The orangutan? Raka. He's got all of it's way after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And so he's interpreting all of this lore of the life of Caesar. And it's all these slight misinterpretations, and it's like this game of telephone where some of it is based on misheard legends, and some of it is based on just him having a sort of sunny reading and interpretation of a lot of this stuff, the way that humans and apes must have lived together. And it always does sort of have this implication that maybe all of this stuff did happen this way, and it's just people kind of misremembered it, or they turned it into a metaphor.
It is very cool what they do with the memory of Caesar in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I really enjoyed that a lot.
Totally.
Yeah, there are a lot of really cool callbacks, though. Like the doll that says mama, that's in the original. The human hunting, that's in the original. The whole no thing, the importance of the word no, that kind of starts out in the movie Escape from the Planet of the Apes and develops from there in the original series, and then becomes obviously very important in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It's Caesar's first word. And there's a really cool callback to that in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I won't spoil that one, but it's a very fun callback if you notice it.
Yeah. By the way, I want to take a second to talk about the primitive humans.
In which movie?
In all of them.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I do think it's very funny thinking about that this is sort of the beginning of us having the imagery of the scantily clad women specific, because we have Tarzan, right? That's kind of the beginning.
That came first, right?
Tarzan's from the early 1900s, right? But so there's this. That's the beginning, really, of the idea of what if humans had long hair and wore very little clothes, they wore animal skins and stuff, and they lived in the jungle, and what
if they were sexy?
Yeah, what if they were a little sexy and stuff? And this was just really big back then. This was with 10 million BC. They did that, and I feel like there was a Sheena, the goddess of the jungle or whatever thing that this is, and the Tarzan movies, right? And I just feel like there's something about this imagery that was just very potent in these moments of technological expansion. That's it's always hearkening to this do you think you'd like this? It's a little bit of a hippie thing.
Well, you're saying people are always just wondering, did cave people just have a fuck ton of sex all the time?
Kind of. Well, I do think there's always a certain kind of weird fetishism that comes into play with this imagery in general. Just the idea of because I guess the real origin of this is, did you ever read Gulliver's Travels?
Yeah.
You did?
Yes.
Great. I feel like people don't know Gulliver's, or they know the first part, the Lilliputians.
Yeah, I don't remember all the different parts of it, but I read it.
Well, right. Well, so the fourth part, it's weird because Gulliver's Travels is has all of this. It's an epic story. It's got amazing sections, but all anybody ever remembers is the first part where he's tied down by a bunch of little people.
Yeah.
But there's so many cooler worlds that he goes and visits.
Yeah.
And the biggest one is the last one, which is where they're what are the Hroom-Frums? They're the talking horses, right? Do you remember this?
I really don't remember.
Yeah, so
I remember the Lilliputians.
Exactly, I know. No, there's so many crazy. He visits a series of people that fly around in an airship and are so scientifically minded that they're constantly having to smack their heads against things so that they don't get lost in their musings. It's great. Gulliver's Travels is great.
I enjoyed that book a lot.
It's really, really good.
It was a fun read.
Yeah, but so the big culminating one is he goes to this place where there's super intelligent horses and humans are deformed primitives that are known as yahoos. This is where the term yahoo comes from.
Oh, right. I remember this.
And so then it's he basically, it's this master slave kind of thing, and Gulliver becomes sort of obsessed with thinking that the horse society is the good one, and he just hates other humans. And right when he gets kicked off of the horse society and he's trying to integrate with other humans, all he can see is them as these yahoos. And so he becomes sort of Taylor and this total misanthrope. by the end because he's seen this better society. And obviously, I do think there's a big difference between the way that that's portraying, like the horses in that book are these very beautiful, majestic creatures that are shown to be so much better than humans. And the apes, of course, because we're primates, I think there's like this, they're supposed to be like, we're not so, like, it's a mirror image.
Yeah.
Right. So there's something very beautiful about just like, seeing a bunch of humans wearing loincloths and stuff. I think actually you would be like, well cast as one of those primitive humans. I think you kind of have the look.
Just because I have long hair?
You're kind of tan. You don't
and
like
I'm hot,
You don't like this?
And I'm hot.
You're hot, of course. Just keeping in the tone of weird sexualizing of my podcast partner here. I was interested in wondering what your thoughts were on what's her name? The female astronaut.
Oh, we will talk about Lieutenant Stewart. We were going to talk
We'll talk about that.
About the female representation in the original Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, of course.
As well as the new ones as well. We will definitely talk about that.
It's a weak
I think
spot.
It's too much of a derailment right now, but I've got a long section of my notes just dedicated to that.
Well, I just wanted to ask you if you think you would do that. If you would ever do that.
If I would join a bunch of male astronauts with the sole purpose of being the one that they get to breed with.
It makes no sense.
No, I wouldn't fucking do that. That was crazy.
There should be 3 women and 1 man.
It was. Oh, you're right. That would make way more sense. But also just.
My God.
We will get into that.
Yes, okay, sorry.
But it makes me so angry.
Okay, all right. So you wouldn't do it.
That one is such a... You're like, how do you feel about this very obviously bad usage of a female character? What do you think?
I know.
Like, what did you expect me to say? Like, oh, I actually think she's pretty cool, even though she doesn't say a single word and they talk about her
no, I don't
in
think
such a sexist way.
No, I don't think the character is cool. I was just, like, wondering, like, could you be convinced to do that?
No, I actually don't want to go to space.
Right. Okay. So that's more of the problem. Like,
do you know
if it was just if it was just underwater, you would be the one woman.
That song that's like ground control to Major Tom really freaks me out.
Yeah, it's a scary song. You know that came out the same week as the moon landing.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Like a big reason for Bowie's career might just be like this sort of semi-novelty song was released at a perfect time. Huh. Anyways,
that's cool. We were briefly in broad strokes going over the franchise in general. We kind of laid out what happens in the original series. And then chronologically, we should say there's the Tim Burton remake of the original Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Which is not doing that much different from the original movies. So it's kind of a useless
let's take a
remake.
Second. Let's take a second to talk about what the charms or complete lack thereof are there.
Yeah. Because I'm not sure that I disliked it.
Yeah, I actually think it gets too bad of a rap.
I don't think it's a bad movie, but it's also just not doing enough different from the original one to be justifiable in the first place.
Well, right. So it's like, why remake this classic? I think you can easily see that at that point in time, makeup effects and that kind of practical stuff that they're doing, the wire work and stuff, is absolutely incredible. Like, they'd gotten to a point where they were really able to make really good.
Except for Helena Bonham Carter,
who was clearly decided to stay home the day where they learned how to act in the ape makeup.
Hers is so bad.
0 facial expressions.
But Paul Giamatti's great.
But honestly, even in the original movie, Kim Hunter is incredible.
Oh, Kim Hunter in the original one is so good.
They figured out how to make amazing facial expressions even early on, but the makeup effects in Tim Burton are clearly part of the reason where they're like, look, this movie's makeup effects started to look a little cheesy. We can update that and do a cooler version of that. And they did. It is a cooler version of the makeup for the most part.
Yeah, and they walk more like actual apes.
Yeah.
Like, I heard that there was a Cirque du Soleil performer who trained them all to move like apes. They run on all fours, that kind of thing.
And I actually think that's in one of Tim Burton's darkest moments, one of his moments where he's truly most interested in actual horror in a way, because Sleepy Hollow's right around then, and that movie does capture a certain amount of the weirdness and the scariness, that being it's not just funny and weird that you're in an ape society. It's this is fucking freaky. These apes are gonna fucking kill me, and they sound psycho. There actually is a dread and a real this isn't just upside down. This is wrong.
Yes.
feeling to that movie, which I think is accomplished.
That's true. Like the ape society in the Tim Burton one is not like they're not like philosophical highfalutin. They're just scary and intimidating.
And it does have some fun, like the dinner party scene where they're like,
that was a
where
good
they're
scene.
talking, they're having sort of like the kinds of idle chit chat that apes at a social gathering would have that you never get in any of the other movies, really.
And I like the love triangle that involves Helena's
right.
character
That's another thing that
with Mark Wahlberg.
he tries to hit harder.
Yeah. And the ending of the movie is more similar to the original book.
That's true. Yeah, I think it gets too bad of a rap. But
it's not great.
It's not great. It's not the worst movie of any of these movies, though.
That's true. There's others. Battle's the worst.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's probably the second worst movie, I guess.
Very briefly, the reboot series, which has been described more as like a reimagining than a prequel, even though they are kind of prequels.
No, but like it's none of the stuff that is in the original movie. You never get to the point, really. Like, they've sort of played up how Kingdom was going to be a prequel to, like, just before the original, and I didn't really get that.
No, by the end of Kingdom, you're like, oh, no, there's going to be other movies.
Yeah, they can... I mean, this is what's kind of amazing about this franchise is... Okay, Terminator, I actually think, is a really good comparison. The Terminator franchise, right? That's a franchise that has to do with time travel, and it, they solve problems, but then a new one crops up with a new timeline, and like it's got the same kind of like, well, we solved the problem, but we need a sequel kind of thing, and well, we're not supposed to sympathize with the robots, but Arnold's a big star now, so like maybe we make him a little sympathetic and stuff, But those movies just they can never get it right. Is it because the idea of the machine apocalypse is fundamentally darker, and like we are invested in the ape society working in a way that like I'm not really invested in like Anakin Skywalker achieving his aims of becoming Darth Vader, because it's like, well, that's bad to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, in terms of prequels, I'm saying, like, why is this franchise the only one that is able to pick any point in the storyline? And that's an interesting inflection point of the battle between humans and apes.
I feel like it has less to do with something that's special about the story of apes evolving from humans and vice versa. I feel like it has more to do with the fact that because they're in ape, either makeup and costumes or mocap, they have to go to much greater lengths to differentiate the characters by creating interesting characters and by creating emotional journeys for them that are sometimes entirely silent. Like they have to put a lot more effort into the characters within the stories that they are telling. And I feel like that's the secret to the Planet of the Apes thing, is the amazing characters they are kind of forced to create. Yeah.
I mean, 100%. No, it is astonishing every time. Like, every new character introduced in the latest movie, and honestly, the previous one, too. It's just like, I mean, well, maybe not everyone. Maybe the Woody Harrelson we both thought was a little bit weak of an antagonist in some ways. But just every new character that gets introduced on the journey that you're on in this latest movie, you're just like, this is a special effect. It's called having an interesting character and performance. Like,
right.
When I was watching this movie, I was like, this is movie magic. I am not immune to this. I don't hate every big budget, studio bullshit movie. This is good. And then they bring William H. Macy in, and it's like, yes, that is what I call cinema. When was the last time you saw William H. Macy in a movie?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been stuck on Shameless forever, I know, but it's just like, yes, this is a special effect, is William H. Macy in this role.
No, 100%. It really did make me feel way less cynical watching this movie. In the beginning, I was like, wow, I think this is what people felt when they watched Avatar, like James Cameron's Avatar.
Exactly.
It had that same kind of magical world. I loved seeing the environments that the apes lived in.
Yes.
The things they were, like the grown over skyscrapers they were climbing in the beginning, and the houses they lived in. It was just so beautiful and magical, and all of the emotional journeys, even when they were very obvious emotional manipulations that they were doing.
Like a plot moment they have to hit, but it worked.
I loved it.
Yes.
It sucked me along the whole time. I fucking loved it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just so weird because it's the same thing that gets reiterated in every movy and in every conflict, right?
Oh yeah, totally. They totally recycled so many things from the original movie, from Beneath the Planet of the Apes, from Escape. They recycled so many things.
Because it's an eternal question. Do you like people? Not really, but I guess kind of if I'm forced to choose between apes and people, I guess I'd choose people. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but then
I don't know. The humans came off by the end of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm like, I don't like these humans.
No, I know, but that was so well done. This moment I don't want to spoil, but like the moment where the apes see this person kill another person,
and
you're like,
that.
The apes are like, you don't have to do that. Like, but the human's like, I do. I'm sorry. I fucking do. Like this, I know that this person's relatively innocent, but like, this is what has to happen right now. And
it made that character so much more interesting.
Exactly. And that is the difference between apes and human. I mean, like I know ape does not kill ape and they test this thing, but they really do hold to it.
Yeah.
And the humans are like, no, you like, you got to do it. Like,
it was a very effective moment.
Yeah. And again, it's just so simple. Like these are not, it doesn't require the most complicated philosophical idea.
You just sit in it.
It's eternal. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You sit in it and you're forced to deal with the consequences of your actions. Yeah.
No, it was great. Okay, brief overview of the reboot series. So you've got Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which I love how they do such a great job of coming up with an explanation that makes sense as to why apes become hyper intelligent at the same time that humans are killed off. It just fits so well. The gene therapy thing. Okay, I'm a scientist. I spent a couple of years at the NIH studying gene therapy as a potential therapy for a neurodegenerative disorder. So I do actually know a lot about gene therapy, and
I can see why you like this movie best.
It's funny because some aspects about the gene therapy were correct, but then the fact that they say that gene therapy can be transmissible, like if you inject a virus into a human. When you do gene therapy, you take away the virus's ability to replicate and to pass on from one human to another. So that was like totally unrealistic, and it made gene therapy seem like this very scary thing. Now, the history of gene therapy research is very troubled, and through a massively immoral decision made by a scientist, a human died during a clinical trial for a disease that wouldn't have killed them in the first place. So gene therapy has had a troubled story, but it's not so scary in the sense that injecting a virus into a human through gene therapy is not going to potentially trigger like the next COVID or something. So I just want to say it gave gene therapy a really bad rep, and currently gene therapy is doing really amazing things for science and for curing diseases, and I think it's the future of science and personalized medicine.
But they did also make it into an airborne virus, right?
The way scientists use gene therapy in real life, the virus wouldn't be able to do that. It wouldn't be able to be contagious.
Okay. Yeah, I guess gene therapy like 15 years ago was in a sort of like similar place in public consciousness, as I was talking about like wanting science fiction to be able to play with semi-real concepts, but also, take it to its limit.
Yeah. But I do.
Because it has advanced a lot.
Satisfying.
It's advanced a lot in the last 15 years too.
Yeah, that's true. It has.
Like, I feel like did people know about CRISPR at that point?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
It's hard to remember when CRISPR became.
I think I learned about it in a Radio Lab.
CRISPR
episode.
Was a thing when
like
I started, when I was in college.
They discovered it in like the 80s, right?
Yeah, but the question is like when they started using it to create new genetic models very quickly. I don't know. I don't remember when it started becoming a thing that scientists started using. I use it in the lab. It's very useful, very quick to use.
You're doing CRISPR all the time.
I do. I mean, not all the time, but I have made a number of mutant cell lines using CRISPR. Anyways, I love the plot mechanics of Rise. I love Caesar's story. I love the emotion. I love his relationship to James Franco.
Great Lithgow performance.
It's all just
and a
great.
Wonderful female lead. Yet again,
wait.
no.
The reboot series has. We'll talk about the female representation in the original movie in a bit, but the reboot series, no good female characters, human or ape, except for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which has a good human female character. But otherwise, there's no good female characters.
No, I mean, it's one of the most egregious wastes of Judy Greer, like the most notoriously wasted actress in Hollywood, who everybody loves. But yeah, they literally they have her play Cornelia, and she got like 5 lines, and she dies or something. Spoiler.
I don't even remember his
wife, Caesar's wife.
Oh.
Judy Greer plays his wife.
She
gives birth. and she says like, I'm feeling the pains, or, you know, like that's all she does.
She was non-existent.
Yeah, that's fucking Judy Greer, but it's like, I get your money, you know, whatever.
So
yeah.
But Rise was great. Gene therapy results in apes getting smart at the same time. Humans are dying off.
Yeah, it kills off humans.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I didn't really like that much.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was still pretty good, but it was definitely weaker, certainly weaker than the last one.
And that was like the apes all coming together and kind of starting to form their own society and having to deal with, you know, there's like there's tension between the humans and the apes, and it's a question of like, can we coexist in peace, or will we be aggressive towards each other? And there's a bad apple ape who causes problems.
Yeah, and most of the apes hate humans because all they've known is the shittiness of humans. But Caesar was raised by humans, so he actually is of two minds.
Yes.
And is actually torn between his loyalties.
Caesar's an amazing
He's
character.
A fantastic character. He's so good.
And then War of the Planet of the Apes is great because you have the apes and there's snow. And the snow on the apes looks so cool.
It really fucking does.
I can't get over it. I just love seeing motion capture apes with snow falling on them. It was so good. And then in War of the Planet of the Apes, you're also being introduced to the concept of humans losing the power of speech.
Yeah.
And there's a very confusing thing where you are introduced to a young human female character named Nova who can't speak.
Right.
And you're like, oh, this is the Nova in the original Planet of the Apes movie, which means that the War of the Planet of the Apes happens just like maybe 10 years before the original one happens. And that's so frustrating because I'm like, no, there's got to be more time in between for the apes to build their society.
Right. But it would never really make sense because doesn't Kira name Nova in the first movie? It's not like she was tagged as Nova in the wild and like everybody knew her as Nova.
Well, so Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes makes a really funny joke about that.
Yes, we won't spoil.
But it's really funny.
Great. Like, it's honestly like...
We were laughing out loud.
Yeah.
And nobody else in the theater was laughing because I don't think that they know... I don't think they've seen all the other the original Planet of the Apes movies as recently as we have or at all.
I mean, Nova's a pretty famous element, but sure.
I had to explain it to my friends.
Yeah, right.
But it... Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
Also, and an amazing line delivery by... Can you look... Who's the actor who played Raka?
Peter McCone.
Yeah, just a wonderful performance by him, as by everybody in these movies. Again, yeah, they clearly just get the fucking best actors in the world to do these things. There's no attention paid to star power or their Instagram followers. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, because if they're in the mocap, you can't even, like... see their faces. Actually,
we also need a new generation to take over from Andy Serkis, who's been the only guy doing this for a while. Like this is our new art form, and we need new people to take it over.
Right. We should say, I'm sure most people already know this, but Caesar in the reboot trilogy is performed mocap via Andy Serkis, who he did Gollum.
Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings, he did King Kong.
He's the master of sort of like he's the modern. He's the Marlon Brando of mocap acting, and I think everybody agrees Caesar is his best role.
It's so good.
And
so
like
good.
people like he should get a fucking Oscar nomination for this shit, which like he fucking should have.
He really should.
But honestly, in this movie, people should be fucking getting Oscar nominations. Like Peter McCone,
or Macon. I think it's McCone.
He should get a supporting actor nomination.
He really should. Wes Ball said that they're gonna be releasing a mocap cut of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, where you just see the whole movie, but you see them like in their mocap sensors and stuff.
That sounds fucking cool as hell.
Yeah, it's going to be on the Blu-ray release, and this is the motivation for us to get a Blu-ray player and start collecting physical media.
Definitely.
So we can see this special edition. We are such Planet of the Apes super fans. In case you haven't realized this, like I saw Planet of the Apes, the original one, for the first time a couple of years ago, and I was like, meh, whatever. And then in preparation for this podcast, that's the first time I saw any of the reboot ones, and I'm like, man, these are fucking good. And then I went back and rewatched the original series, and I'm like, damn, I love these too. Like, I want to compare the original series and the reboots. They remind me of the difference between the original Star Trek and Next Generation.
Great. Yes,
because
totally.
The original Star Trek, so the original Planet of the Apes series feels campy, kind of like 50s B movies, at least to me. And that's kind of like the original Star Trek. But they're also way more philosophical, like Next Gen is. Whereas
the original Star Trek is philosophical as hell.
Yeah, but
I would say the metaphor still stands because the characters in Next Gen are much more developed and much more empathized with, too, in a way. And
the reboot's still philosophical, even though it's not as philosophical as the original.
No, they're both philosophical.
So the reboot Planet of the Apes, to me, there's better special effects like Next Gen, but it's more action thrillery the way that the original Star Trek
interesting.
is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, and the fact that I love both the original Star Trek and Next Gen as two completely separate things, that's how I feel about my love for both the original Planet of the Apes series and the reboot series.
Yeah.
They're just totally different.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they recycle concepts and they fit together in an interesting way, and they're both philosophical. After War of the Planet of the Apes, Sam got super introspective.
What did I say?
And emotional.
I didn't remember.
We were having discussions about like how you want to, like how one has a fulfilling life, and you were thinking about like legacy and stuff.
Yeah,
you were like very emotional.
I do remember that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. No, yeah, these fucking things actually. Like, I can't believe how emotionally invested I get in these. But again, you're right. Like, a lot of it is us building ourselves up because we're in the middle of this thing where we're forced to reckon with the stuff. And it's like, this is an amazing achievement that's a little bit unnoticed by people.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they're underrated, again, because these movies are more popular than ever. But they are, like, it is weird. Like, we were just at a party and stuff. And, like, we were talking about we were about to go see Planet of the Apes. People were like, wait, are those, like, good? And it's like... Yes. Like, no, they're good. Like, that's kind of what they're famous for. They're not famous for being, like, super popular. They're just famous. Like, anybody who knows about them is like, no, those are good. And it's like, really? It's like, yeah. Like, I know it's like they have this weird aura where they project lesserness. But, yeah, like, one of the most amazing things about this franchise is the fact that they were able to not just get more out of it, but get a different thing that is the same thing. Sorry if that's like a super...
That was a confusing way to put it.
No, like they're like, okay, so...
You're saying like they're able to like reuse old concepts, but get more from them.
Right, like to me, I feel like this is what people talk about with Mandalorian being, and I'm not a Mandalorian fan, but they're like, we want to show me something that's a different genre within this world, right? Like use these elements, but give me something that's not just a continuation of this one story that has all of these same specific elements, or maybe it can have the same elements, but like, it's a world. Do something different with it. This to me is like, this is how you manage a property. Like, this from the first movie on. Like, the fact that they were able to get sequels out of that original movie is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you were talking about how, you'd watched the movie a little bit ago and you're kind of like meh on it, but then, like, I feel like we really... Yeah, we sort of watched these movies all out of order, of course.
Yeah.
And we did it in a good way, where it's like we watched, the reboot series, but then we're also watching the sequels before... We ended up watching the sequels before the first movie, because... Believe it or not, we will actually get to talking mostly about the first movie at some point in this podcast. And so that is the goal of what we're talking about in this podcast that details mostly movies in the new Hollywood era.
Right. That will be the main focus of this episode, even though we've already recorded so much.
Clearly, it's not the main focus. But anyways, we watched like the reboot series and it's like, wow, this is so cool. And then we watched most of the sequels and it's like, wow, these are fucking good ass sequels. And then we went back and watched the original movie. And to me, this was like, well, okay, not only is this good, but it's also, not only is this like interesting, but it's also like really good. And like, it has that thing where like, it's comforting, like you talk about with Hitchcock movies.
Yes.
Like that movie, because of course, and we will get to talking about this, that movie sits at an intersection of B movies turning into A movies.
Yes.
B movies turning into A movies. And then the sequels get a little more B movie-y. But that first movie really shows you what, like, having A+ like movie stars in star power, and just like really doing everything perfectly with the makeup effects and just like having a really cool score and just like that stuff can really bring that elevate. That's what makes something not a B movie.
Yeah.
And that movie is the perfect example of context changing the way that something is perceived.
Absolutely. I feel like at this point the original movie is an old friend and I've appreciated it so much more now having seen the rest of the entire franchise. Yeah. They all add to each other.
Totally. Yeah. It really is such an impressive thing.
Now, are any of them standalone movies? Like, obviously, the original Planet of the Apes.
Rise.
And Rise of the Planet of the Apes. What about any of the other sequels?
Right. So the big question for this new movie, Kingdom, of course, is that a standalone? Because it's supposedly this new beginning of a new trilogy, right?
Yeah, my friend saw it, and she hadn't seen any of the others in the reboot series, and she was confused. And I could totally see how, like, if you don't know the story of Caesar, then one single line trying to summarize his life in the very beginning is not going to be enough to set up the impact of how everybody is manipulating his memory and how his memory has changed over time.
Right. Like, so much of this movie is about interpretations of ancient lore.
Yeah.
And it does make a difference if you happen to have seen the real version of the thing. And, like, it has greater resonance if you see the way that people are bringing their own prejudices to interpretations and sort of using religion and deliberately misusing stuff and other times just misinterpreting something.
Right.
You know?
I think the reboot series, it is worth your time watching all of them. Like, you probably don't want to watch them as standalone movies. I mean, Rise, you don't have to see the original series for it. Like, yeah. But, yeah, you probably don't want to just start with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
And you probably shouldn't really skip a movie, in a way, because it's like, what's interesting about these movies is they're all about, like, okay, so the first series is like, you know, apes have taken over. Like, the forget about mankind, right? And so all of these movies are detailing these specific moments in changing in relationships between
the power
apes and man.
Struggle and
small little moments of somebody making the wrong move or misjudging an alliance or trusting the wrong person or just accidentally doing something that ruins, you know, everything. And it really sells the sort of gradual diplomatic breakdown that happens here in a way that's what that series is about.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like I'm ready to finally just dive into the original movie and the new Hollywood context that it resides in.
In 1968's Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
So, Elena, are you aware that this episode is a bit of a redemption story within the context of Kill Your Idols?
I am aware. So the producer of this movie,
Arthur P. Jacobs,
the movie he made immediately before this was Dr. Dolittle.
Which I can safely say is our least liked film that we've covered.
Yes. Not to say that our episode on it was bad.
No, the episode's pretty good.
So
it's nice and catty.
If you want like a fun little prequel episode to this, go back and listen to that Dr. Dolittle one because it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But that movie was a disaster, total flop.
Yeah.
And
a flop largely because it tried to put real animals all on screen. A menagerie of real fucking animals that caused endless production disasters.
You're so right.
And one's gotta wonder if Jacobs was just like, I know I'm onto something here, but like, people in suits.
Use makeup.
Yeah, like, can we maybe just not do the real animal thingy? Maybe horses, okay, but, you know, right.
That's so funny. I didn't think about that. Yeah, so he really needed a win. And Fox did too. They were on the verge of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And they were considering doing Planet of the Apes. And the concern was that the makeup would look too silly, that the audience would laugh and wouldn't take it seriously.
Right.
And so they did a screen test and they're like, you know what? Let's go forward. Let's move ahead with that. I think that's funny because now a modern audience going back and watching the original movies, you're like, wow, that makeup looks really silly.
No, but again, like I really think like we watch the sequels first and then you go back and look at the first one and like the sequels makeup I think is truly cheesy. Obviously the first one, yes, it's cheesy in a way, but like it's really fucking good.
I still think the makeup looks really silly. When Cornelius and Zira smush their snouts together to kiss, it's just like very comical.
The kissing is always the worst part because it's literally like their face just bent inward.
Yeah, I don't love. I think the makeup looks a little silly. I was wondering like what audiences at the time thought. Pauline Kael said she thought the makeup and the costumes were rather witty. So I guess it worked.
No, I actually I don't know, honey. Like I really think that Kim Hunter has so many moments of just like you're like, how the fuck is she able to do such a complex manipulation of this makeup, which, like, it does look silly, but at the same time, like, you're, like, often being confronted with it's like, well, it does look like a face. Like, it is moving kind of like a face in a weird way, you know?
She said, actually, Kim Hunter said the secret was you had to keep the face moving at all times.
Right.
Otherwise, if the face was still, it looked more like a mask.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she does all those like little sniffing things, which work really well.
And they do the most in battle when the makeup is worst.
Right.
So of course, they're like hyper aware of like how many like.
Yeah. Pauline Kael said, the apes have a wonderful, nervous, hopping walk. The best little hopper is Kim Hunter as an ape lady doctor. She somehow manages to give a better performance in this makeup than she has ever given on the screen before. Which is hilarious to say. It might be true. I mean, Kim Hunter's famous for being Stella in Streetcar Named Desire, both the original Broadway production and the film version.
She's great.
She's great.
It is fun to. I mean, look,
but she is great in this.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, if I'm being honest, like, look, all due respect to Tennessee Williams, I think Zira's a more interesting character than Stella.
I love Zira's character so much.
Yeah. She's a psychologist who also likes doing experimental surgery.
We will talk about her when we talk about female representation.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, obviously she is the shining example.
But makeup.
Yeah.
So the budget was $5.8 million. They ended up making $33.3 million, so it was a hit and a critical success. They spent about $1 million of the budget on just makeup and costumes.
Yeah. I mean, they knew that, and Heston probably got like a certain amount. Let's just really quick talk about like the history of makeup, right?
Yeah, if you feel qualified to do that.
You got it? Well, no, I just mean like it's just very, you have these movies in the early 30s, the Universal monster movies.
Yeah.
Right? These are, where makeup really comes in on. I mean, you also have like Lon Chaney, who actors are doing their own makeup, I guess, or like they're there's a lot of and then you have people develop things like the original Frankenstein makeup and stuff, and these are big movies, but then it quickly descends into like, okay, that is like a B movie, and you get like rubber suit monsters and stuff, and it casts it into this very sort of ghettoized, like that's not like a classy picture thing, and so they originally don't think of this movie as like a big summer movie, or I don't even like this is a big tentpole for Fox that year again, which was in a terrible strait, right? So it's a big swing, and so they're just initially like, well, I mean, I assume that this is just going to be like kind of a B movie, and then Heston, who is a huge star and an Oscar winner, right?
Yeah.
Heston being in there immediately cast the movie as like, oh, so are we thinking about this in like a totally new way that a movie like this could exist? And like, as I said, the big question was, will they laugh at these apes? Who is it that asked that question?
I think the executives at Fox.
The executives, their question was like, they're like, this sounds good, but like, are they going to laugh at it? And that would not have been a question were Heston not in the movie, I think.
You mean if Heston were in the movie, it'd be like, yes, of course they're going to laugh.
They'll laugh, and it's
fine. Yeah, he definitely elevates it. The makeup, so it originally took 5 hours to put on all the makeup, but by the time they started shooting it, they got it down to 3 hours. And there's this really adorable anecdote that Kim Hunter remembers about Linda Harrison, who played Nova. She's the actress who played Nova. She said there was this exchange where Hunter was taking Valium to relax because of all the makeup, and Harrison asked what the strength was. Hunter said it was 5 milligrams, and Harrison said, oh my God, that little? I never go to sleep without 10 at least. Which to me is just like such a 70s anecdote, like talking about how much Valium they take.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know why this is just hitting me just now, but you hear 5 hours in a makeup chair, and you're like, whew, that's a lot. And then I'm like, wait, no, 5 hours.
Yeah, how do they do that?
5 hours?
That's crazy.
That is, I know I've heard that phrase many times in my life, but just really sit in it and just try and imagine how boring you've found a situation where you had to sit and listen to somebody talk for or do anything for 5 hours. Like,
I can't fathom it.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed.
It's pretty amazing. And I mean, it also puts this extra pressure where you're like, I better fucking kill this.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta be, and
we have to spend some time talking about makeup artist John Chambers, who won an honorary Oscar for the makeup that he did in this movie. The award for best makeup wasn't established until 1981. They were just like, we have to give you an Oscar, even though there's no category for this, because you did such a good job.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know this shit like brought stuff forward. This is the same year as 2001, right?
Yes, 1968.
This makes sense, right? The space race is happening. Okay, we have not won yet. It's still, it's not quite this it's this symbol of American hope and expansion, but it's not this, it hasn't become this sort of hoary old symbol of American showboatery yet, which is interesting because in Planet of the Apes, I would say it's already doing a real interrogation of the space race in such a fascinating way. Taylor's character, obviously, but anyways, I just think that this was the year that science fiction came of age, right? So this was the year when Kubrick and these people were out there thinking okay, what if you could make one of these movies that's good? Kubrick has a line about, he reached out to Arthur C. Clarke and said something like, I've been thinking a lot about the proverbial really good sci-fi film. Just the idea of this concept that we've all imagined of a sci-fi film, but good.
Because remember, before this, sci-fi films were B movies.
I mean, which we love and have aged into beautiful works of art, such as, of course, Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
As a point of comparison, right? It had not become. Not only was it not central in the culture, it was very much kid stuff.
And 2001: A Space Odyssey is credited largely for making the big jump, but Planet of the Apes deserves to be recognized for that as well. Another fun sci-fi thing that happened around this time is the Patterson Bigfoot film came out around this time. It was allegedly shot in October of 1967. Are you familiar with?
No.
This is what when you think of Bigfoot footage.
Really?
That's what this film is. That grainy shot of Bigfoot walking through the forest. It was known as the Patterson Bigfoot film. There's a rumor within the special effects community that the person who made that Bigfoot costume was John Chambers.
Wow.
The person who did the makeup for Planet of the Apes. He's an interesting guy. He used to design prosthetics for injured vets during the war.
Yes.
And then transitioned over to working for the film industry and also worked for the CIA for most of his career.
Oh, really? He made disguises for people?
He made disguises. It's ironic because he also did some disguises for the pilot of the TV show Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So it's funny that he, in film, did these disguises for spies, but in real life made disguises for spies. There's one rumor, the makeup community has all these rumors about him. He himself was very tight-lipped about all this stuff. But there's one rumor in the makeup community that he put makeup and a wig on a corpse to fake the death of a foreign ruler.
Whoa.
For the CIA.
I mean, is this the major leagues of makeup artists? Real life? The ultimate test for a makeup artist? The true show from the show? The majors? Is that
getting
disguising actual
recruited?
people?
I wonder.
Like seeing if you can fool real people with disguises, not using
is.
lighting and just actually get a person.
He never admitted to doing the Bigfoot thing, but everybody in the makeup community was like, "Oh, it was him."
Yeah,
and it's just so funny the idea of him just being like, "I want to see if I can trick people with this."
Yeah,
and it's just, I don't know. The CIA thing is so fun. It's so cool to me. He actually, him and Bob Seidel, who later did the makeup for E.T., they were the ones to set up Studio 6, the fake movie studio for the 1979 Iranian hostage crisis.
Oh, they did Argo.
Yeah, the movie Argo,
right, which
John Goodman plays John Chambers.
Interesting, because in the movie Argo, yeah, right. Because, he sees Planet of the Apes, and that's what inspires him to do it.
Yeah, but in the real life, he made Planet of the Apes.
Right. Is he literally John Chambers, or is he playing a fake version of?
John Goodman literally plays John Chambers.
Okay, right.
Maybe in the real life they saw Planet of the Apes, the movie, the people the CIA people, operatives saw Planet of the Apes and were like, okay, we got to get that guy.
Yeah. Well, the inspiration supposedly in the movie is that you need this crazy locale, even though Planet of the Apes was shot in America mostly, right? It wasn't shot in any Middle Eastern location.
I don't know. I think they shot all the desert stuff in Utah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
The stuff, and then they also used foxes. They had this waterfall pool area. Fox did a nature preserve.
That part looked fun.
They foxed a lot of. They shot a lot of stuff at. Looked cool. They that same pool of water was used in Dr. Dolittle as the watering hole, which is fun. So yeah, John Chambers, cool guy. Bigfoot, CIA.
No, I mean, and
Planet of the Apes.
Look. Right, so I guess this can transition into the question of the campiness of Planet of the Apes. Yeah, the sort of its perception for a while, because I do think that there's no question that while we both really think a lot of the sequels to the original series are really great, it's not like they alone would make us venerate the series as much as the inclusion of the new series does.
Yeah, the sequels are campy fun. I mean, Conquest...
But really good, though.
Yeah,
like,
they're good.
Yeah. They're better than you think.
Yeah.
Like
some of them,
yeah.
Escape and Conquest are. And
I like Beneath. I think Beneath gets a bad rap.
I think Beneath is just pure camp fun.
It gets a bad rep because it is really weird, the lead character aspect, I think. Like, it's just very strange. Like, clearly they couldn't get Heston for more than, like, 2 days or what, kind of shit. But basically the reputation even of the original movie, while always critically acclaimed and while always liked, was, I think, for a while, and this is through the 90s, really, and into the Burton remake era, it was a movie that just sort of existed largely as a kind of, like, a joke or a bit. It was referenced on The Simpsons constantly. You know where I think my first real delve into... I mean, of course, I'd heard of the Planet of the Apes, just the phrase, and it's like, you get it. Like, it's not really anything mysterious about that. Like, it's a planet of apes. It's an immediately understandable concept.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you need... But I remember, I think my first exposure to the imagery and the iconography and the mythology of Planet of the Apes was through MST3K. Did you watched it too, yeah?
Yeah. I've watched some MST3K, but I haven't seen any Planet of the Apes MST3K.
Well, Bobo. Remember Bobo, that one of the henchmen? In the series where Pearl is the lead villain, she goes to different worlds, and that's how she gets her sort of like sidekicks, Brain Guy and Bobo.
Oh, honestly, I really hate all of the like in-between movie gags.
Sure.
But okay.
I absorbed a lot of this, but there's a whole section where like Bobo is from the Planet of the Apes, and they have a whole, and he always calls Pearl Lawgiver. And it's like part of this, he's like, lawgiver. And it's just like very fun. And like that, I really think like that was that was where I first encountered the Planet of the Apes stuff. And of course, we have to discuss possibly one of the most memorable things of all time is the famous Simpsons Planet of the Apes musical. So the Simpsons, when I was a child, it was like the Grateful Dead is to me now. But except times a million. Like, as annoying as people find me about the Dead, I would talk about I would yell Simpsons quotes from the toilet to my mom. I would talk about the Simpsons all day long. Like, there was no end to it. It got to a point where, I could do like every line of every episode because I would watch the reruns so much. And because The Simpsons is so chaotic and you can almost never, you don't really remember where it's going to go, but like sort of you'd be realizing that you remember the whole thing as you're watching it, right? Now at this point, a lot of that stuff has faded away. Of course, some iconic jokes have stuck, but The Simpsons Planet of the Apes musical, I of course, like everybody who's listening who knows what I'm talking about, I know the entire thing shot for shot. I am assuming you, Elena, have not seen this.
I have not. You assume correctly.
Because you're not a Simpsons fan.
I actually hate The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It deeply bothers me for personal reasons that I won't get into, but I hate The Simpsons.
Dark. But we're going to have you react to the Planet of the Apes musical right now. This is going to be a moment where you're going to experience this thing that almost everybody else who's listening to this, I think, will I mean, I can't even explain how transportative this thing is. Like, this is just one of the most iconic things that happened in the 90s, I think.
Wait, are you about to, like, make me watch an entire Simpsons episode?
Yeah, no, come here.
Okay.
Pausing it. So, now you've seen it.
I can see why that would make an impression on people. It was funny, and it was very clever and well-written.
I hate every ape I see from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. And yeah, it's so weird when you sort of dig into it, because I've seen it so many times, that it's like the bit is he's Dr. Zaius, which of course this is the first time in my life I've heard Dr. Zaius, and it really imprints on you. And so that's why he's doing the weird jokes where he's like, I asked the doctor, could I play the piano? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, I couldn't before. Like this, it's like the joke is that he's a doctor. Like, that's why they're doing those jokes.
It is weird. Like, that Dr. Zaius is at the center of the universe in the Simpsons musical.
Well, he's like the most memorable character, I think. Like, he's got a very memorable name.
What? You think he's the most memorable character in the original Planet of the Apes movies?
He's got a memorable name.
Zira is.
No, she's a better character, of course.
But I guess she looks too much like Cornelius to be memorable.
That's true, yeah. But Zaius looks like all the orangutans.
Yeah.
But
I
he's
don't
got the
think
name.
Zaius is the most memorable.
He's a great character.
He's a great character.
But he's got the name. But yeah, it also did make this weird impression where it's like Dr. Zaius seems like a good guy in the Simpsons musical.
Right.
Which, by the way, is technically called Stop the Planet of the Apes, I Want to Get Off, which now makes this the third time that we've referenced the musical Stop the World, I Want to Get Off on this show. And another time was Dr. Dolittle.
Wow.
Incidentally. The 60s.
Text-to-text connections.
Yes. Okay, so, right, it's kind of campy, yeah? And obviously, yes, the new franchise is part of the dark and grittiness of stuff, like Batman or what, like the Rise series is like darker right, like it's more humanist is really what it is. Like,
yeah, because the original series is very dark. It has very dark moments.
It's as dark. I mean, Taylor is as dark a character as Jane Fonda is in They Shoot Horses, Don't They? I mean, pretty much. Like,
do you want to talk about that?
Let's start with Taylor. Yeah, I mean, because it's one of the coolest and most iconic aspects.
Yeah, so this is definitely a new Hollywood aspect.
Yeah.
That Taylor. So Charlton Heston is an icon for playing old Hollywood characters, like biblical epic characters.
Yes.
And in this, it's like he's playing that old Hollywood character, but it's highlighting how shitty he is.
Shitty, but he's also like smart in a way.
He's smart.
Like he's smarter than the average kind of hero like this in a way.
I think he comes off bad in these movies.
Yeah, I don't mean actually smart. I mean like because he's so cynical is what I'm saying. Like he's so cynical. Like he's very cynical, and it's this very kind of sneering like know-it-all thing. I actually was thinking about this, like how like is he. Because the whole movie, it's like it starts off and he has this monologue where he's like, look, I'm blasting off into space. And you know why? Because I don't give a fuck about anything back home. Because as far as like humanity, the 20th century, that can go fuck itself. And it's like, you're right. You're like, okay, it's got a point, like.
He's a total misanthrope.
Yeah.
And you mentioned in your intro him laughing at the other astronaut planting an American flag.
In 1968.
Yeah, he's anti-patriotic.
No, exactly. And he's
very cynical.
It's very interesting too, because we'll talk about obviously about Charlton Heston is a certain kind of an icon later in life that's not exactly what you would call anti-American or countercultural in a way. I mean, unless you count extreme gun culture as a certain kind of counterculture, but yeah, like he in this movie is very much cast as a man of his time. He is, we'll talk about that now, but like he's got this whole weird bit where he intersects with 60s counterculture ideas for like a 15-minute stretch, just because he's dealing with a younger ape, and so he's sort of thinking about the kids back home.
So he's shaving, and the young ape asks him about it, and he says, in my day, only kids your age wore beards. So he's like decidedly not a hippie.
Yeah, he's not a hippie, but he is like charmed by the kid in a way, and he's like, don't trust anybody over 30. Like he says that in a way because he shares a certain kind of anti-American cynicism that the hippies did have.
That's true.
Like he's this weird combination of like, I'm old school, but also I think you're right on, kid.
Yeah, and he asks the nephew like, how are you feeling? And the nephew responds, disillusioned.
Yeah.
You can't trust the older generation.
Yeah.
And you get the sense that he doesn't lump Taylor along with that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, right, it's like Taylor. He's casting himself as like I follow no trend. He's a contrarian. Like he's like I don't fit in with apes. I don't fit in with humans. Like because it's like right. He starts off hating humanity. Okay.
Right.
And then because he is then faced with a society in which humanity is subjugated, he is forced to. He regains a certain amount of his brothership or fellowship with his fellow humans, and he's like, fuck you fucking ape, like all of it. And he's like, wait, you can't do this to me, I'm a man.
That's true.
Like that's his whole. This is what's fascinating about his character is like he is forced to reckon with the fact. It's actually kind of interesting. Like in the beginning of the movie, he's like this super privileged astronaut who's like the most famous person probably in the world.
Yeah,
doing this mind-boggling experiment that's got to be being. It's an entire society must have developed. This must cost billions of dollars. Like this.
Right.
This had
like
been a decades-long, project.
Presumably.
Like right. And he's like, I don't really give about that. I don't even give a shit about that. Like I just do this because I don't care, and I'm amazing. I'm a genius or whatever. Like I'm a great astronaut.
Like he laughs at the other astronauts. noble intentions.
Yeah, and it's almost like this kind of version of like, it's like, I don't think you realize how good you got in a way. It's like, I think you're being a little too cynical. It's like, I get what you're saying, man, but also like, I think push comes to shove, you would still identify with your fellow. Like, I don't think you, it's this version of like, when you say, I hate people, how much do you really mean it?
Right.
You know?
Or like America sucks.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Right.
There's lots of bad things about America,
Yeah.
but it's also like one of the most privileged places to live,
Right.
and we don't realize how great we have it here.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking Taylor is kind of like that. Taylor's
No, that is interesting. He definitely
figure.
learns to embrace aspects of life a bit more. Like it's kind of implied that he doesn't really have any romantic attachments back home, but then he develops a relationship with Nova, even though he basically says it's literally because you're the only person here, but like you're the only chick here.
Yeah, that's part of that same 15 minutes where they're analyzing all of the sort of ripped from the headlines ideas from 1968. They're like, I didn't realize man could be monogamous.
Right.
And he's like, it's easy on this planet. And then he also talks about early on when he's with the three astronauts and they meet the primitive humans. He's like, we'll be running this planet in 15 minutes. And I'm like, what are you going to be doing? Like, how are you going to run that? Like, are you going to enslave all of these people?
No, but it is
and
interesting
like,
that his first reaction is he thinks about violence.
Yeah.
So Pauline Kael, about this character, she said, the picture is an enormous, many-layered black joke on the hero and the audience. And part of the joke is the use of Charlton Heston as the hero. I don't think the movie could have been so forceful or so funny with anyone else. And she says that Heston represents American power because he's strong and hot, but you also have like a moral revulsion towards him and towards the ugliness of violence. And she says he is the perfect American Adam to work off some American guilt.
That's brilliant. I mean, that's such good Kael.
Love Pauline Kael.
So was she mixed on it, you said? Or she was like, it's good, but it's kind of like, it's not anything serious or whatever?
She thought it was great. She thought people should go see it as long as it wasn't spoiled for them. She said that it's probably one of the best sci-fi things to ever come out of Hollywood, but she specifically says that doesn't make it art. So this is one of her things. You know, she's always thinking about like trash versus art, and she'd probably say this is like really fun trash.
It's an interesting question, okay? Because I don't want to spoil this, but like when we get to the sort of the Cold Stone scale later on, like obviously we've developed this rabid appreciation for the franchise,
right?
And for what a lot of what it represents. And I love the first movie, but it's like, do you love this movie more than Forbidden Planet?
I know what you're getting at. Like no. Like, the original movie, just on its own.
Yeah, right.
No. Like, Forbidden Planet, I love so much more.
Yeah.
But the original Planet of the Apes, taking into account the entire franchise that comes along with it, yes. But it's only, like, in the context of the entire franchise that I love the original Planet of the Apes as much as Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into this later, but I guess the question is, I mean, like, look, it's no 2001, okay? But I do think that there is a seriousness that I am seeing in the first movie that is not just the ideas or reveals or the innovations. I think it's a really good movie.
I think so, too.
What else did Schaffner... Did you look up anything about Schaffner? Like, what else did he fucking do? Like...
Yeah, he won Best Director for Patton. And he's also
right, he did Patton. Yeah, of course.
And Papillon. He's also known for that.
I don't care about Papillon. Maybe I gotta relook at Papillon.
And he collaborated with Jackie Kennedy to do that tour of the White House thing.
Oh, that's fucking iconic as hell. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, like, do you want to talk about him, or like, what do you think? Like, are you inspired to discuss Schaffner? I mean, like, no, I feel like the man is obviously talented. Like,
honestly, we already hit all the things I had to say about Schaffner.
I know, but this movie does have a warmth. Except, I guess, like, I'm looking for like little holes that I'm thinking in it. And, like, I guess I kind of do think that some of the desert stuff looks a little like it's like pretty looking, but I'm like, this does not. If it's trying to look post-apocalyptic, it's a little cheap.
It just looks like it was shot in the desert. I do feel like so other people like the desert scenes.
They're beautiful. They're really good, but it's like if you're trying to think about it, I don't know.
I think they're too long. I could use less desert traipsing personally.
No, but part of but okay, how do you feel about like it's weird cuz it's like they call it Planet of the Apes. But it's like they delay the reveal. Like the first moment where you see the apes.
You mean like when they're on those crosses?
I don't think you see apes
the dead apes. You kind of see them. There's like dead apes tied up to like crosses.
But there's the big famous moment where like they see the primitive humans and then they hear that and then like an ape turns around on a horse.
Yeah.
And it's like Charlton Heston looks at it with shock and fear. Is that like, you know what?
It's literally the title.
Like, right. I mean, part of it has to be just like maximizing the amount of time you're not reliant on the makeup.
I mean, I think there is something to be said for like, even if the audience knows something's coming, still do that moment sincerely.
Yeah, you got to establish the relationship with the other guys. Okay, do you want to talk about Stuart?
Let's talk about female representation in Planet of the Apes, and let's start with Stuart.
Yeah.
There are 4 astronauts in the beginning.
Yes.
There are 3 men, and then there's a woman, Lieutenant Stewart. And the movie opens where Charlton Heston's like the only one awake, and he's looking over at the other astronauts who are presumably in like a, I don't know, cryo sleep or something like that. Yeah. And he looks at the 2 guys and, you know, thinks about them. And then he just lingers on Lieutenant Stewart and just looks at how sexy she is.
Fully made up for her cryogenic sleep.
Yeah. And it's just like, already that's uncomfortable. That he's just like staring at her while she's asleep.
Obviously, it's going for something like that. But at the same time, it does feel weirdly unaware of. But no, I don't know. Like, I think it's supposed. Do you think that's meant to be just like. It's almost like it would make no sense if they didn't have a woman. Like, what is this mission?
Like, why
what are they trying to do? Like,
yeah, no, I don't. I think that they clearly were like, we need some hot chicks in this movie. But she's only in it for a second. Like, she's never awake in it because when they crash land on the planet, they realize she's already dead because she had not been cryogenically asleep, actually. Like, there was some sort of malfunction with her sleeping system, and she aged, and while they didn't. And so she used, like, this old...
she's mummified.
Mummified.
Basically.
Corpse.
Yeah.
So she never talks. She's just as voiceless as Nova is, which was pointed out in a blog I read. The blog's by a blogger named Summer Reeves, just to give credit where credit's due.
There's a certain kind of, Taylor's misanthropy, which is partnered with a kind of misogyny. Like, his relationship to women is almost begrudging. He likes that.
Yeah, we'll talk about him.
He likes something
and
about
Zira
Nova
in a bit, and him.
He's
and
clearly more
Nova.
interested in Zira in a way.
Yeah,
I guess.
So, but some of the things Taylor says about Stewart, the female astronaut, he's talking.
She was to be our Eve. With our hot and heavy, hot and eager help,
I'm just going to say that quote. So he's talking to Nova, and he says, like, did I tell you about Stewart? There was a lovely girl, the most precious cargo we brought along. If human life could survive here, she was to be the new Eve. With our hot and eager help, of course. That's just disgusting. He literally calls her cargo. He calls her something you can own that's not living. And
you are correct.
He's like, we can't wait to fuck her and breed her.
It just makes no sense. Why did they not bring more women? Like, what is the point of this thing? Like,
and also they're just like clearly not taking her opinions at all into.
It's just no. I think the implication is she signed up for this.
They never say anything about her being willing. They just say our hot.
I actually do think those are quite different. No. I think those are quite different things. Like I assumed that was meant to be that was part of the mission.
Maybe. Like, I mean, Taylor does say to the other astronauts, and with Lieutenant Stewart dead, you're the last of the line, implying that they just brought her along to breed.
I do think that was part of it. Yeah. Like, but I think that's its own kind of weird thing.
But they never acknowledge, like they never specifically say that, and that's just not a believable female character.
I'm not going to claim
a female character.
I am not going to claim that this movie seems to be giving any thought
agency to her,
or just thought to the idea that a woman wouldn't be into this stuff. Like the thing to me that's so funny is the human women just. The picture that it gives of them is they're just completely compliant. Like, I do think that Stewart is meant to be presented as she was like, okay, that she did want to go on this. And the Nova is the same way, that she just loves him instantly. And like, and it's like, it's only thinking about how weird it is for like these 3 guys to breed with one woman versus how weird it is for her to like find that like, I just think it's only about their experience.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly found it weird to think about her being placed in that role. Like, it's just...
No, but I think the movie is presenting it as if, like, well, of course, she would, like, that's what a woman would be in space for.
Yes, no, the sexual politics... the sexual politics of the filmmakers is not good in this movie. Like, Heston, I guess, kept a diary during the shooting of it. And he said, the casting problem is really Nova. Who will do it? And how naked can she be?
I gotta say, do you think, what's her name?
Linda Harrison.
Do you think she's good as Nova?
She is the girlfriend of the VP of production at Fox, Richard Zanuck.
Right.
So she clearly got cast just because she's an exec's girlfriend. She took acting classes. Like, she really wanted to do a good job. She was very sincere, apparently. Like, she always showed up on time, because Zanuck was like, you better be respectful. And so she, like, wanted to make sure that she didn't seem like she just got it because she was the girlfriend. But she's not a great actress.
No, she's bad in it, I think.
She's so hot, but...
She's incredibly hot. It's true.
Yeah, another thing that...
She's an icon, I'm sure.
Another thing Heston noted in his diary was... Linda H. has problems, but Frank's keeping her nearly immobile in her scenes, which works. Which is true. She, like, doesn't move that much. She's usually... So her role is just to stand there and be sexy. And she, like, doesn't move around a lot. She kind of stands there and makes these faces like, oh, no.
Yeah, like, that's the problem is, like, it doesn't quite... Like, she is asked to do so little, and yet she still has this weird fucking expression on her face the whole time.
Yeah,
and it just,
like she's got to poop or something.
Yeah, like she's a little bit of a Josh Hartnett. But yeah, it's this mixture of, it's like she's about to laugh, but she's trying really hard to be serious, and she also just seems so modern. Which again, that's very 60s. But it's just she just has this expression of I'm pretending to be a stupid human, but I'm not. Like it's weird. I guess it would be hard to imagine an actress truly giving what that role asks for. Like, if she was actually, like, playing the sort of, like, a gibbering, like, subhuman person, and he was like, Nova, you're my girl now. Like, would that be more interesting if it was being, like, actually committed to?
I don't know. So there, in the book, she has a kid with Taylor.
Yeah.
And they shot a bunch of scenes of her being pregnant with his child. And they ended up just not using any of those scenes because an executive at Fox was like, it's a little weird because she's not, like, fully human.
Right.
So therefore...
But she doesn't seem that subhuman. That's what I'm saying. Like, she seems like a person in the movie. That's how it kind of gets away with it in a way.
But the executive was like, so therefore, if he fucks her, then it's like he's committing sodomy. And it's just crazy to me that he's like, the issue is sodomy. The issue isn't her inability to give consent. It's like, the issue is that he'd be fucking an animal.
Well, wouldn't that be bestiality? Did he say sodomy?
I think that
is sodomy just
bestiality
technically
is a type of sodomy.
Yeah, sodomy is just putting it where it doesn't belong.
I guess so.
Anywhere.
I had to Google sodomy after I read that.
Sodomy's blowjobs too.
I guess it is. Just
it is. No, I'm
putting
telling
it where
you,
it doesn't belong.
Yeah. That's why all those anti-sodomy laws for a while were literally like they meant you could not have oral sex.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those were like in the books. I think some of them are still on the books, but.
Yeah, so she's just, obviously a terrible female character. Taylor says to her, you're not as smart as Stuart, but you're the only girl in town.
Yeah. But he's kind of excited. There's clearly something about him that's excited by how much this woman has been chosen for him. Like, I do think that there's something where, like, he is saying, like, no, this is my woman now. Like, he's very much committed to, like, this is my new life. And, normally I would be a bit of a cad, but in this situation, I've got to settle down and be with Nova.
He brings her along, even though Zira and Cornelius don't want her along. I think it gets back to that thing where you were mentioning how before, when he's in the spaceship, he doesn't give a shit about anything, but he kind of gains an appreciation for life in different ways.
For being a human.
Yeah.
Like, he is forced to accept that, like,
yeah, I
may hate it, but it's what I am. Like, you can't just say I'm not a part of the human race just because people suck.
Right.
Let's
wrap up the female characters by talking about Zira.
Zira, yeah, right.
Because, bad female characters, except for Zira, who is possibly one of the coolest female figures in all of New Hollywood.
Yeah. No, yeah.
She speaks her mind. She fights authority. She gives men orders. She's a quote where she's talking to Cornelius and she says, Cornelius, show some strength. Like, she's just fucking cool. And I think it's not a coincidence that because she's in an ape costume, they literally can't sexualize her. So therefore, they have to just make her more interesting. And yet they still manage to sexualize her a little bit when at the end of the movie Taylor is like, I should kiss you because that's what I do with women, right? Like I kiss them. And so
I think
he's her.
Kind of into her is the thing. Like I think that he is actually genuinely into it. And the joke is that she finds him disgusting, even though she doesn't, you know?
Yeah, although in Escape from the Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
she initiates a kiss with a human man.
So she's
kind of like spunky when she does it. She's like,
Right.
you're going to be the second human I've kissed.
Yeah, totally. She's like, I do this sometimes.
I'm a little risque.
So they don't sexualize her and Cornelius, but they do and this is another mark of every Apes movie, is they show moments of sweetness between the apes.
Yes.
Like they always have to have like a cute little moment where the apes are like, family is important to me.
Yeah.
Like that's always a hallmark.
No, you're totally right. They are a very cute couple, and that is
They're supportive
through
of each
line
other.
through the whole franchise is cute family moments. Yeah. But Zira's cool. I would love one of those Zira action figures. That'd be pretty cool.
Noted.
Yeah, I remember that from my birthday.
Yeah.
To be fair, they do sexualize Taylor / Charlton Heston a bit because they
true.
show him in very little clothing as much as possible.
Yeah, Heston is one of those, you're sort of forced to consider the changes in male body standards.
Yes.
Right? One of these all-time examples of that,
Because I look at him and I'm like, that's not a hot guy. That's an attractive older dude in a way, but I'm not sexually attracted to him.
Yeah. No, I don't think that he's I would say he is rather traditionally masculine, but he's certainly not playing a romantic figure in a way. He's got a beard most of the time that he notably shaves. But so you're looking at his body and it's like this guy's in pretty good shape. He's very tan, which I guess is another kind of new thing. Too. People are doing more. You're seeing his sort of raw sexuality because you're seeing so much body, but it's never being presented as like, this is appealing. Sexy.
I think it is kind of supposed to be presented as this is appealing to the 1968 audience.
You think so?
I do think so.
Okay.
But it's hard to tell because our beauty standards have changed so much.
I just think that it's not one of those cases where like, you look at an old movie and they're trying really hard to say this is hot, and you're like, I don't know, it's really. I feel like it's like they're not presenting him as like some ideal. They're presenting him as just like a man.
If we have any older listeners, please write in and tell us if you thought Charlton Heston was hot.
Well, I think his voice is kind of hot.
He did a lot of narration work.
Of course.
Charlton Heston, he did some narration Hercules. He also, in the 80s, did narration for instructional videos for the U.S. Armed Forces and Department of Energy, in particular regarding nuclear weapons. And for 6 years, he had the highest level of security clearance for this. And this is very ironic because he actually, from what I read, it seemed like he was, kind of pro-nuclear war. He's like, oh, it's good that we dropped the bomb. Because it ended World War II, and that was a bloody war. And clearly he's pro-weapons, given his 5-term presidency of the NRA, cold dead hands and whatnot.
Yeah, and but this movie ushered in, obviously, this sort of new phase of his career where he's playing gentlemen caught in a dystopic society. Mm-hmm. Like this, Omega Man, and Soylent Green, which we both recently watched, and that movie's pretty disappointing. Like, there was a reason I had never seen it up till now.
Yeah.
I just also think it was kind of a nothing movie up until...
I don't like it.
Another movie that's, the ending is spoiled.
I guess that is one instance where the spoiled ending makes the movie not worth it to watch anymore.
That movie's just not that good, right? This movie, Rod Serling wrote this.
He was a co-writer. There's two writers.
He came up with the ending.
And if you don't know, Rod Serling is the creator of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Which... the ending is very Twilight Zone-y.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the whole beginning part is also, I was thinking about this, it's very reminiscent of an early Twilight Zone called I Shot an Arrow into the Sky. That's about these 3 astronauts who crash land on a planet, and one slowly kills the other one so that he can live longer to keep their rations, and then it turns out they'd crash landed back on Earth, and there's a telephone pole just around the next mountain, and, so he's killed 2 men. It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a lot like the plot to the Even Stevens movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, of course, which acknowledged its influence, of course. He came up with that. That wasn't part of the original book, right?
The ending of the book, as I said, is like the Tim Burton book where they escape the Planet of the Apes and arrive back on the home planet of Earth, only to find out that it's overrun by apes and apes are in control. And the book has this additional twist ending. It has this framing device, the book does, where it opens with a couple on a honeymoon and they find a bottle floating in space. And the bottle contains a manuscript written by Taylor, the astronaut, detailing this whole story of what happened on the Planet of the Apes. And then the whole story happens. At the very end, there's a twist reveal where the couple finishes reading the manuscript and they're like, oh, that's a bunch of garbage. And the female in the couple pulls out her makeup mirror thing and is touching up her makeup. And in doing so, the book describes how she touches up her, I think it says she touches up her pert little chimpanzee snout. So the reveal is that the framing device, the couple who found it, they were chimpanzees all along, and you just assumed they were humans. And Rod Serling, when he was writing it, he wanted a nice twist like that, but he was like, that twist isn't going to work for the movie.
And that was like another Twilight Zone.
Yes, it is like another Twilight Zone. The Planet of the Apes author actually didn't think that his book would make a good movie. He thought it was one of his lesser works.
Yeah. He was most famous. Pierre Boulle was the writer. He was most famous at the time for writing Bridge on the River Kwai.
That movie was adapted by screenwriter Michael Wilson, who was the other screenwriter who adapted Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Fun little connection.
Right, and he was a blacklisted writer we should talk about. He is widely credited with being the main author of the actual script. Pierre Boulle was, fake put on as a credit. I don't think he really spoke English. He was not actually a writer of the screenplay in any serious way.
It is weird that he was given credit.
Yeah, it was because they were still facing sort of backlash from the blacklist. I know there was some kind of campaign to get Wilson's credit reinstated or something. I know that this is covered in the Oscar Wars book.
I feel like it is common knowledge now. If you go on the wiki, the two credited screenwriters are Rod Serling and Michael Wilson.
Right.
But I guess not in the opening credits or closing credits of the movie itself, right? Yeah. The other blacklisted person involved is Kim Hunter, was blacklisted in the 50s. Elia Kazan was the one who named her. And
really?
Her opinion about that is she says, everybody did what they had to do in that crazy, evil period. So I guess she was kind of forgiving of Kazan. But she was hesitant about playing Zira because of the blacklist. But producer Jacobs was, really instrumental in helping remove her name from the blacklist.
Yeah, I mean, it has a certain resonance with the film, of course. There's a lot of Cold War stuff, but also just the kind of kangaroo court that is set up, by Zaius.
Totally.
Is very reminiscent of that.
And Zira rebelling against that, it must have felt nice for Hunter to play that role.
She did it beautifully.
She did.
Do you want to talk about, what's going on in the ape society? They're in the midst of a kind of cultural upheaval that's hinted at. They have just abolished some quota system.
Oh, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, they make all these references to now that they're starting to open up society a little bit and liberalize in some ways. And there's obviously the protesters who are trying to get more human rights. And there's a lot of the ape society is in a moment that is very 60s.
Yeah, and then Cornelius feels like he's discovered the secret that apes maybe have evolved from humans, and so he's discovering this new thing in society.
Yeah, he's discovering and he's uncovering a cover-up, too.
Yeah, exactly, a government cover-up.
Yeah.
There's this quote from Linda Harrison, who played Nova, about what it felt like to be one of the people making Planet of the Apes. And she said, "We were the flower children. We were the baby boomers. We were at war. We were changing and making transitions. What was seeping through people's self-consciousness in that era was a fear of Russia and a fear of the bomb. It revealed what a lot of us were feeling but couldn't talk about. And that was the race issue." So she just brings up all these different things that Planet of the Apes is dealing with, such as hippies, war, racial tension, nuclear anxiety, changing times.
The ending and Taylor's weird journey of he's weirdly hopeful because his faith in humanity is in a way restored, or just at least he puts together some kind of philosophical justification for why he must go on and defend the human race. And so he's saying all this stuff like Zaius is like, mankind has destroyed this world, like, you know this, and he's like, no, I'm sure it was like a natural disaster, or like maybe there was like weather or meteors or something that killed me. But then when he sees that it's literally his planet, he's like, oh no, this is Earth. Like, I thought this was just another planet where there were human and apes. He's like, oh no, it's Earth. Oh no, of course we fucking did it. Of course that's our fault. Yeah, no, oh, Earth? Oh shit, Americans? This was Americans and like the fucking Russians? Oh yeah, no, of course. We like, yeah, well, of course.
Yeah.
Like, and he's got this sort of like, I fucking knew it. Like, you fooled me for 1 second, but of course it's my people.
No, you're right. That is a great point about pointing out the trajectory of him, like kind of regaining kinship with humans and then just having it crushed with his disappointment of
it's literal Americans. Yeah, like
it calls back to that Kale comment about him being the perfect person to deal with American guilt.
Yeah.
To portray that. I could watch Charlton Heston slam the sand and proclaim his frustration. I could watch that over and over again because he just goes for it, and it's so actory, but it's so fun. It's kind of campy how serious he's doing it, but how actory it is. But I fucking love it.
Yeah, he sells the shit out of every line, and like when he's like, oh, they finally did it, it's like funny.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, ha ha, great, okay, and he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, I hate myself so much. Like, he's like, good God, I didn't realize I could hate so much. Like, it's
no, it is another new Hollywood aspect of the ending. First of all, the ending's dark. Like, Cornelius and Zira will still be tried for heresy. There will be a government cover-up that will succeed, and Taylor realizes humans destroyed themselves. But there is this message in the movie that humans are bad.
Yeah.
There's this quote from their sacred scrolls at the end that says, "Beware the beast man, for he is the devil's pawn. Alone among God's primates, he kills for sport or lust or greed. Yea, he will murder his brother to possess his brother's land. Let him not breed in great numbers, for he will make a desert of his home and yours. Shun him, drive him back into his jungle lair, for he is the harbinger of death." Obviously, that's a big part in the movie. Sorry for just like repeating an entire quote that already was like overly emphasized in the movie, but it just really demonstrates that one of the messages of this movie is we suck, which is so new Hollywood.
This is 1968, like the worst year of the 60s ever. Like Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy assassinated within months of each other. The 68 riots at the Democratic Convention, the height of Vietnam. This is when everything has gone mad. Like, this is the moment in the 60s when it does not feel like we are working towards a beautiful new world or even a slightly more tolerable new world. This is when it's like, it truly feels like change isn't happening, but society is breaking down and crumbling. Incidentally, we might be at a similar point right now, both in society and in the sort of new movement that we are in film. It's sort of my wishful thinking read on the situation. But yeah, no, I mean, so this movie it's talking about, it's Night of the Living Dead, too. It's talking about 60s counterculture, but it's not putting it in this... It has no. It's all of its optimism is drained after all the assassinations of the period.
There are a couple other new Hollywood aspects I wanted to mention. The camera work was pretty new wavy because there were a lot of handheld shots and zooms, extreme long shots. So we should mention the cinematographer is Leon Shamroy. He's an old Hollywood guy. He was born in 1901. He studied mechanical engineering at Columbia University and then moved to California and worked for 13 years as a lab tech at Fox. And then in the 20s became a cameraman. So he became a cameraman like right in the beginning of film. His first experimental film he made in 1928. It was called The Last Moment, and it was the first silent film ever made without explanatory intertitles. So he was kind of always doing kind of experimental, different sort of stuff. And then he was recruited to Hollywood in 1932. He was broke at the time. He said that he squandered all his money on poor, starving girls and whiskey. So he just seems like a fun character.
He liked starving girls?
No, like, I think he was like, oh, these poor starving girls, they need me to, like, take them out to dinner and stuff.
I gotcha.
I think that's what he meant.
Yeah. That's very genteel sounding.
He traveled the world for a while shooting ethnographic footage in other countries and made very little money. During World War II, he gave over his footage of other countries to the War Department, which used it to determine bombing targets, which is pretty dark. But so he was interested a lot in capturing other cultures. So it's kind of cool that he used this to also capture the apes culture in Planet of the Apes. But his style, like, he used zoom lenses before they were commonly used. And people in the studios often thought his work was too artistic. And he pioneered a lot of new filming techniques. Interestingly, even though the camera work is notable in this, he has a quote that says, "The obtrusive camera is like a chattering person, something we can do without. It's okay for the camera to join the conversation, so to speak, but it must never dominate. It must never distract from the story. The real art of cinematography lies in the camera's ability to match the varied moods of players and story or the pace of the scene."
Yeah, like, I just think, like, if you think about that moment where Taylor is laughing at the flag, it's doing zooms there, and the effect is to emphasize how mad his reaction is.
You're right. Like, the camera work, even though it is kind of noticeable, you're never like, oh, that person's doing experimental stuff. It's like always commenting on what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Leon Shamroy shares the record for the most Oscar nominations, for which he got 18. And he shares the record for the most cinematography Oscar wins. He won 4 times. So he's a good cinematographer. And then we have to talk about the score.
Yeah, the score is amazing.
It's...
And so weird.
One of the first entirely avant-garde scores in a movie.
I judge this to be merely 99% avant-garde, and so, unfortunately, it is not quite there yet.
He had the composer's Jerry Goldsmith. Jerry Goldsmith is one of the most Oscar-nominated composers in history. He has 18 Oscar nominations for his scores. I think he often lost out to John Williams and people like that. He composed a fuck ton of stuff. He composed Alien, Chinatown, Gremlins, Hoosiers, Mulan, Basic Instinct, The Mummy, Rudy. He won his Oscar in 1976 for The Omen. He is a titan in film composer history.
Wow, he did Hoosiers and Rudy.
Yeah, I must have liked those sports movies.
Yeah. It is funny, actually. It is one of the big things that I think differentiates the sequels from the movie. In the sequels, the score is sometimes too melodic and musical, and I'm like, this is not the vibe. It's not eerie in the right way. Because I guess none of the movies really are trading on eeriness in the same way that the original movie is.
The exception is Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, which was also scored by Jerry Goldsmith.
Oh, interesting.
But as we were watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I couldn't help but think, the score is lame.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and especially Battle.
Yeah. Yeah, like Goldsmith had the orchestra imitate grunting sounds of apes, and he used instruments from all over the world. He really reminded me of Mickey Hart from Grateful Dead.
Yes.
And the way he does his drums in space.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's quickly just play a snippet of the Planet of the Apes soundtrack.
Yeah, fun.
That's fucking cool, isn't it? Oh, and he wrote the Star Trek Next Generation theme music.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so where else do you want to go with this? What else do we have to really get into before we sort of start wrapping things up? Because, like, I feel like, how new Hollywood do you think this movie is? In a way, it's got a lot of feet in old Hollywood, you know?
It does have a lot of feet in old Hollywood, but I feel like the socio-political stuff it deals with and what we mentioned, like the score, some of the filming stuff, and just the role of Taylor, like what kind of character he is.
Yeah.
Solidify it as definitely a new Hollywood movie. But it is like 1968. This is the very beginning.
Yeah. No, but every single major figure in the movie is an old Hollywood person who's
Yes.
trying to reinvent themselves
Yeah.
or do a new career. Michael Wilson and Kim Hunter are blacklisted people,
Yeah.
you know?
Roddy
Charlton
McDowell.
Heston. Roddy McDowell, who, yeah, you got to shout out Roddy McDowell, who is, of course, becomes the signature actor of the original series.
He was in all of the original Planet of the Apes series movies, except for Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
But he plays Cornelius, but he also plays his own son, Caesar.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's great.
He's really good. Well, I love Roddy McDowell from Camelot.
Oh, I haven't seen Camelot.
Well, I haven't seen it either. It's supposed to not be great, but he's, you know, he played Mordred.
Wait, you say you haven't seen it either, but you love him in it? Oh, because you know the soundtrack.
The cast album.
Cast album.
Yeah, he played, you know, Mordred and sang, of course, the 7 Deadly Virtues, which I'll put a little snippet in right now.
The 7 deadly virtues, those ghastly little traps. Oh no, my liege, they were not meant for me. Those 7 deadly virtues were made for other chaps who love a life of failure and ennui.
So, I don't know. I mean, you should listen to that whole song. It's very fun. It's like, I'm Mordred. What I love is evil instead of nice things. So, that's my main perception of Roddy McDowell outside of Planet of the Apes.
Actually, you know him from How Green Was My Valley, which we saw recently.
Oh,
He
yeah,
was the
right.
little
We
boy.
watched that.
And-
I fucking hated that movie.
You hated that movie?
I didn't hate it, but I thought it's developed this reputation as, because, of course, if you don't know, and I guess I'm assuming most people who are listening don't know this or whatever, it beat Citizen Kane for Best Picture in the Oscars. It's considered a sort of ridiculous win, but it has now garnered this revised reputation that's like, actually, that movie's really good, and beating Citizen Kane only hurt its reputation, but it should be considered a great movie. I don't know. I thought that movie was kind of hokey. There was no Citizen Kane. That was what? I mean, I'm sorry, but I thought it.
I liked it. I mean, I didn't love it, but I also don't love Citizen Kane, so...
Well, yeah, but so this is also part of the idea. It's weird that Citizen Kane is not even considered that great by a lot of people. But McDowell, he played the kid, and he was pretty good.
Yeah,
He's a good kid actor.
The entire movie, I'm like, this kid looks so much like Anna Paquin. I'm telling you. Like, look up pictures of Roddy McDowell, or look up a clip. That'd be best.
Is there
look
a
up
particular
clip.
kind of face that a child actor can have that's good? And like, do they have like the same kind of face or something like that? Like,
Maybe.
is that what
Anna
makes us like or respect a kid actor?
Anna Paquin's face is kind of baby-like.
Yeah.
Roddy McDowell had a long career.
Oh, yeah, no,
he was a model when he was a baby, and then he was in a child star. Obviously, How Green Was My Valley, and he was in Lassie Come Home.
Yeah.
He was in over 270 stage and screen roles over the course of 60 years. Apparently, also, he was a good photographer. Took a lot of photos of celebrities.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love Roddy McDowell. He's great. He's not quite as good as Kim Hunter. Like, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, he's
I have to say,
not as good as Zayas either.
in
but-
Conquest, the way he delivers that speech at
Yeah,
the
that's
end,
his
the way his
movie.
body is kind of cocked at an angle, and he has this malicious tone. It's very good.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good call. That's really his big showcase, his Conquest.
Yeah, are we ready for
The Cold
Cold
Stone
Stone?
scale? Yes.
Let's
okay,
do all
so-
of them.
Of course.
All 10.
No, I know. We can also. There's a couple other movies we could hit on our way too that we've mentioned. Okay, so I began my professional life at an establishment known as Cold Stone Creamery. You might be familiar with this place. They sell ice cream. They have sizes there. The sizes are unusual. They don't have small, medium, large. What they have is like it, love it, or gotta have it. So we have reappropriated this sizing system as a method of judging movies that we at least like. So the question is, does it make the scale or not? And if it makes the scale, is it a like it, love it, or gotta have it? Okay? So, original Planet of the Apes.
You kind of brought this up earlier. If I was watching it on its own, if there was no franchise attached to it, it would be a like it. But because of how much I love the Planet of the Apes franchise and the way it's made me reevaluate the original movie, it's a gotta have it for me.
Yeah. A jump from a like it to gotta have it
Yes.
because of the existence of the other films.
Yes. Which, it's not just because I think the other films are great. The other films have allowed me to revisit and appreciate the original Planet of the Apes in a deeper way.
Yeah, in a more cinematic way for me.
Yeah. So, sorry, what was your
Yeah.
gotta have
So,
it? Or-
for me, it was a thing where I was we've had a very similar experience, you and I, with this franchise. And I was sort of coming in assuming that, yeah, it would be an obvious gotta have it. I think I would be lying. As a spoiler, I don't think it's my favorite film in this franchise. I don't know. That's a weird thing to say.
No, I agree, though.
But
I agree.
I was toying with the fact, like, is deep down it a love it for me? But then I was like, no, I think that's me trolling myself or trying to be interesting. I think it's gotta have it.
Yay!
You know?
Yay!
It's Planet of the Apes. Come on. And it's a great movie. And, like, honestly, I think these last few rewatches of the original have unlocked that comfort rewatchability thing that really pushes this to a movie that I predict I will be much more inclined to want to watch and show people.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
It's a like it.
Me too. It's a like it.
Yeah,
I love the second half. The campy aspect.
I love the ending.
Yes. Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
I love it.
I think I love it too. I love it too. Yes.
It's really good.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And although I don't remember Conquest, because I have to be honest, Conquest I actually didn't rewatch. I watched it a little while ago, and I didn't rewatch it with you this time. That was the one that I missed.
Yeah.
I think I love it, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm a love it.
You're a love it?
And I love it more than Escape.
Yeah, not me. Okay. Battle does not make the
Does
scale.
not make the scale.
Absolutely
Battle of the Planet of the Apes is not worth your time.
That's some of those boring ice cream I've ever...
Yeah. That's like the type of ice cream where you forgot that you ate ice cream that day. It's so boring. We struggled to keep watching it.
We put it on and while we were setting up our recording equipment for this very recording.
Yeah.
Literally seconds before we started recording. I was still doing research while we were
Half watching
yeah,
this really boring fucking movie.
Yeah.
Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
So I said it was a little overly maligned before, but do I think it makes the scale? No, I don't think I quite like it.
I'm a like it.
You're like it?
But just barely.
Yeah, okay. But there's also a TV show from the 70s that we
didn't watch that one.
It's basically a series of movies, I think, or sort of strung together movies.
I want to check it out.
I do want to check it out, too.
Yeah. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Gotta fucking have it.
You're
That's
gotta
my favorite.
have it for Rise?
I fucking love Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
It's so good. It still feels weird to me. I think there's something about Rise is such a good movie, but the other films in that series strengthen it. Like, that's such an every movie is good, and that's part of the strength of it. I don't feel like Rise as a movie within that series has yet proven itself to get to a quite gotta have it level for me. It's still kind of a small movie in a way that to me it's a love it. It's amazing.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes was the thing that really made me a Planet of the Apes fangirl.
Yeah. So is that just because it's like, I mean, it's a contemporary film, like it's set in, it's not really, it's barely, it's only a movie about a super intelligent ape.
I think it's the best story.
Yeah, I mean, Caesar has a huge arc.
Yeah. I just love the story so much.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was fun in the 2000s nostalgia way. Like, I told my other partner that I loved it, and he was like, that's not a good movie. And I'm like, okay, well, if you watched it when it came out, I could see you being disappointed by it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it doesn't get to gotta have it for me. I'm seeing it like that. It's like, this is a good movie.
For me...
But it's great now.
Watching it in 2024... where I'm often like, I'm just in the mood to watch one of those like shitty 2000s movies that now are super fun. Like, this movie is not a shitty movie, and it has that fun 2000s vibe.
Yeah.
And it has an amazing story.
Yeah, not exactly a classic James Franco performance.
I don't think he's bad in it.
No, he's not bad, but it's certainly one of his less interesting roles. A great John Lithgow performance, though.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize that James Franco was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Because, like I said, I've only watched this for the first time, I don't know, a month ago, a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Because when it first came out and I saw the trailers, I was like, oh my God, this looks so scary. The trailers were scary.
Yeah,
So
I guess.
that's why I never watched any of the Planet of the Apes. Is because I thought they were all very scary movies. They're not.
No. They're sad, though.
Yes.
They're all very sad. Okay, so Dawn is the next one?
Yeah.
I like this movie.
It didn't make the scale for me.
It really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's got a really weird Gary Oldman performance in it. It's got okay Jason Clarke thing. Circus is great in it.
Yes.
Koba's a decent villain.
Koba's great.
Koba's a good character. And some cool moments, but it's a bit of a treading water movie.
Yes.
Because it's like they're trying to delay getting to the real conflict.
Right,
This
like
is
even the
beginning of
title,
the war. Yeah.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, doesn't really indicate what's going to be happening here.
Yeah, it sounds like the same thing as Rise.
Right.
It's just like a parallel action that's happening.
Yeah.
A dawn is happening as a rise. The sunrise is a dawn.
Can I just say I love that the titles are all like blank of the Planet of the Apes. Like the fact that they're like, we're just going to do this of the thing.
Yeah. It's like the Book of Mormon song. We are the soldiers of the army of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
It's just like that.
Yeah, right.
And it's funny.
It is funny.
But they do it seriously.
They do it seriously. The titling in general, by the way, let's just talk about like that might be something that has weirdly dinged this series is like the titles are so generic and interchangeable and famously nobody can ever really remember. Like I wonder how long we'll keep such a differentiation in our heads of what
The
each
different
movie is
movies
called,
are. Yeah.
You know?
The fact that there's a Battle of the Planet of the Apes and a War of the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Those are like so similar.
Kingdom,
titles.
like maybe if they had more distinctive titles, like The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
and stuff that maybe that could help them burnish their reputation as individual movies in a way more.
Yeah, but now because I'm such a Planet of the Apes super fan, I kind of love that they have these like lame, weird of the titles. I can't wait to see what other titles they're going to come up with.
Yeah.
And if they ever change from the blank of the Planet of the Apes, I'm going to be really pissed. I mean,
nuts.
Beneath the Planet of the Apes doesn't have two ofs, but it's
Yeah.
still like what's that? What kind of word is that? Preposition?
Yeah. It's really funny because I remember hearing that something was beneath the Planet of the Apes and just never getting what the fuck that could mean until I saw the movie because I just never considered that they were talking about underground. Like for me, I was imagining...
You're like, oh, you're beneath me.
That's funny. The idea of it's just being haughty. But no, the idea of like, I was picturing a planet and then thinking of them saying that something was beneath it. Like I was like, what would that mean? Like there's no direction.
There's no
in
north
space.
or south.
I have no
of the
idea
whole planet.
how I was so out on a limb with this.
That's so funny.
But anyways, okay, so Cold Stone rating of War for the Planet of the Apes, which does break the pattern also.
Oh, I'm fine with War for the Planet of the Apes. That's still close enough to of the. Like for the of the, it's
Sure.
close enough for me. It's a like it. It's on the higher end of like it. I love the snow.
That's our kitty.
Pinch. Pinch likes it too.
It's okay. This is an acceptable noise.
I love the snow.
Yeah.
And I think there's other aspects about it that I really enjoyed. But it's a like it.
I think that it explores a lot of it really fascinating stuff with human and ape alliance in the way that Battle wants to, but can't really do, you know? The idea of which apes would be on the side of the humans and assume they're going to win the war opportunistically.
Right.
You know? I think that's pretty fascinating stuff, and Caesar is made more complex, and...
They do a great job of making him seem older.
Yes.
In that movie.
As we say, the villain in that movie is kind of not exactly quite at the top level of villain, but it's still a solid one. But that movie also shows the new effect of the simian flu that it's having on humans to explore what happens to humanity to make them into the animalistic versions of themselves, right?
Yeah, and
so
that's fun.
That part's pretty good, and that gets to also show a new side of Caesar's sympathy for them.
Yeah,
that's like then they go to this animal state in front of him.
That's a cool reveal because like you see them kind of slowly figuring this out.
Yeah.
Like things are hinted at and you have to piece together what it is, and that's a cool way to reveal that information.
Yeah. So for me, I think that's a wonderful movie. I think it's a love it. I think it's definitely an improvement on the previous one, which I also liked. So, and I think it's a love it. So Kingdom...
It's a love it. I really loved it. It's not a gotta have it, but it was a love it.
So you gotta have it. I mean, this is, for me, this is one of the best movie experiences I've had in a while. Not to spoil our end of the year episode. I was just sitting there from moment one, just writing down notes that were just like, this is blowing my fucking mind, like constantly emotionally invested. Everything worked. I instantly loved these new characters. I think this is probably my favorite film in the franchise.
Wow.
I'm so excited for the next ones.
That's lovely.
Yeah. But again, maybe it was just, having an enjoyable theatrical experience.
Right.
I also saw The Fall Guy the very next day, which I also really loved and had a similar kind of like the magic of the movies kind of thing, right?
Because usually we're into interesting, more obscure stuff. So anytime we really like a mainstream movie, we're like, this is strange.
Yeah, well,
but also nice.
Especially now. It's not like I've never liked mainstream movies. It's modern mainstream movies, I think, that are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not the only people to note this or whatever, but I just want to note also the previews paint quite a picture. There's a lot of prequel stuff coming out. There's beginning Quiet Place in the Furiosa movie.
Right.
These sagas that are a little higher class IP doing prequels that
and yet
are generally expected to be pretty good, but
no unique IP, which is annoying.
Right. And I did have to also say the one thing that I found fascinating, because I saw Fall Guy a day after we watched Kingdom, and we saw the Despicable Me 4 trailer in both, but it was a totally different trailer. In the Apes one, it was all Minions. In the Fall Guy, it was much more of showing what's going on with Gru and like his adult sort of domestic storyline, and it was almost no Minions.
Interesting.
So yeah, I guess there's a sort of they're trying to sell it to a date night crowd more, and they assume that people who like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes just like antics and minions.
Like non-human creatures.
Yeah, right. Okay. How about Forbidden Planet?
Oh, that's a gotta have it.
That's a gotta have it for me.
We barely mentioned that. I
barely
like that you
mentioned
still
it.
include it.
Yeah.
What other movies did we talk about?
Have we done officially Citizen Kane? Did we do that in Obsession episode? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
So what's it for you?
I mean, if I say it doesn't make the scale, I'm not being completely honest.
Shut the fuck up. Are you joking?
I don't like that movie.
What? Wait a second.
Let me be honest. It's a like it.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is actually a completely different conversation that I thought we were going to have. I thought you were going to be forced to accept that it was obviously a gotta have it, even though you didn't like it.
No, fuck that movie.
You're telling me you're actually considered saying Citizen Kane doesn't make the scale? You're putting it on the level of Battle for the Planet of the Apes?
I don't enjoy watching it. I respect the technical innovations. I don't enjoy that movie, though. And I recognize this is a personal decision. I'm not saying that objectively Citizen Kane shouldn't make the scale. Like, objectively, I understand why so many people think it's great. I don't like it. It does not make my personal ice cream scale.
I thought the ice cream scale was something a little more objective than our personal taste, but okay.
I think it depends on how we're feeling that day.
Sure. But
it is a like it. It is a like it.
It's barely.
I can't say it doesn't make the scale, but it's definitely not a love it, and it's definitely not a gotta have it for me. It's weird because it's a gotta have it for the history of film, but for me personally, it's a like it.
Value wise.
What?
It's a gotta have it for me on a pure entertainment level.
Ugh.
Okay. Well, I mean, what a perfect way to end the episode. You heard it here, folks. Elena basically argued why she didn't want to put Citizen Kane even on the scale, but felt obligated to. So, I really can't top that. Okay, can you take us out?
That concludes another exciting new Hollywood adventure. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Kale Your Idols on the podcatcher of your choice. We would love it if we got more ratings and reviews. It helps us out a lot. We would also love to hear from you, so please get in touch with us. I run the social media, so if you get into an argument with us on there, you will be arguing with me. Reach out to us on Instagram. That's where we're most active. But you can also find us on X. Just search the name of our podcast, Kale Your Idols, and you'll find us. You can also send us an email to kaleyouridols@gmail.com. We want to say thank you to the Illuminator for our logo, and thank you to ourselves for everything else. Please join us next episode where we will be discussing John Waters' trash cinema classic, Pink Flamingos.
And now I stare into Peter Fonda's eyes and ask him how we did once again. Peter Fonda, how did we do?
We blew it.
Marlon Brando, Ellen Burstyn, Robert Evans, and Shelley Duvall. Sad endings 'cause of Watergate and Vietnam. Never thought I'd be so happy to see the old studio systems good. Generally good. Generally
Wow. When you have corn kernels in your poop, it's just the skin. Like, the whole kernels still in your poop are just empty skins, empty corn skins that are filled with poop.
Is this your end of Planet of the Apes moment?
No, sorry.
Realizing that? That's going in the episode. Just to tag on at the end.